find the time to explore the mind of a stripper, then you can find the time to spend with your actual family.
Primetime with Isaac and Suk.
Damn! What they on? All steroids and no carbs? Them some thick-ass kids.
This is Primetime.
We're not like you. We're grown-ups.
Your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports.
Oh, my goodness.
Here are Isaac Ropp and Jason Sakanik with Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
Hey, what it do?
Ahoy!
What's up?
Just sportsing over here.
Good Wednesday.
It is a good Wednesday. Feeling good.
How's everybody doing?
Feeling good.
Pressure meter ramping up for both of us.
Yeah. I mean, although with the, it's 5-game series, being up 2-1, you feel a little better that you got the cushion. I don't want to go back to Philadelphia for a game 5, but.
Well, I don't have a 2-1 cushion.
No.
So you're not thinking about me. You're only thinking about yourself. Once again, Jason,
yes.
we're in this together.
You're sitting there at 1-1, so.
This is a big game for us
This
tonight.
is a big game.
Now,
for
you guys.
The pivotal game 3.
I think it is the pivotal game 3. When you're playing in a 5-game series and it's tied 1-1, come on, game 3 is going to going to win it a lot of the time.
What's the percentage of that? Do we know? It's got to be like 70% if
It's
you win that
actually,
game.
it's closer to 80.
Yeah.
I would imagine
it's like
so.
79%. Game 3 is if it's a 1-1 series and you win the third one, it's enormous. So when we got that one, and I don't know about you. I mean, I know you're not quite there, although you were pretty cocky the other day about the Royals. I have my pucker factor, my winker factor has gone from like a 72 going into the postseason where I had no faith in the Mets. And I'm not quite just believing it's a team of destiny, but I'm feeling this is as confident as I felt about a Mets team maybe ever. Because you're playing with house money. You're not supposed to be here. And I really do think that this right now looks as good as any team in baseball. So what the hell, man?
The vibes are there. They just have the look.
Yeah, they got the look.
They've had the look for months.
Yeah.
But I need to correct you on one thing.
Go for it.
Now, I am not cocky Royals fan.
You felt a little cocky the other day. You had a couple cocktails in you and you were talking trash.
Again, as I pointed out to you, it is not because I think the Royals are going to win the series, although I do feel decent about it. I think the Yankees they're a little overrated. I'm not going to lie. Royals are playing well, but the Royals they're not a great team. Okay. But they're playing well. The reason I came across that way is because I am trying desperately to get under the skin of our two local Yankee fans here.
It's working.
I think it is working.
It's absolutely working. I sit across from one of them, and it's the first thing he talks to me about
I'm
every
right
day now.
in their kitchen,
You are.
and it's great. And Ryan Cooley, so tomorrow is game 4, no matter who wins tonight between the Royals and Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I just want to clarify, I am not counting my chickens.
Okay.
What I am trying to do is if the Royals go down to the Yankees, we're going down swinging and talking some serious S. And I would do this with no other team.
Jake is like
only the Yankees.
Jake is like the Yankee Jake is like
he's the nicest guy.
He's the nicest person in the building.
Yeah. I think he's thrown for a loop.
I've never seen him be flustered. I've never seen anyone go at him. And I think he does it because he's so affable and nice. I don't know if anyone's ever come at him like this.
Well,
and out of nowhere, Rob's buzzing the tower. I think he is beyond flustered.
Well, he should get used to it. He's a Yankee fan. I mean, come on. If this is the first time someone's come at you for being a Yankee fan.
Well, remember, but he's from there, so Yankee fan back east, it's different.
Welcome to the world. You're out of the bubble, buddy.
Welcome to the West
Not
Coast.
everybody's a Yankee fan. You
Put your big boy pants on. Ropp is here.
That's right.
Sachi coming at you.
The mighty Royals. Well, anyway, I just wanted to clarify that. But what I was going to tell you is Ryan Cooley, who is he's one of our fearless leaders. I think we're down to like 2 leaders.
I think so.
3.
I believe he is the second. If we're ranking the fearless leaders,
he's second in line here.
He's second. He's not Genghis Khan, but he's like Napoleon. He's right behind.
Yeah, when Kim can't handle a matter,
then it goes to Cooley.
Yeah.
In his little short pants.
And then after that, I don't even know. It might be you.
I don't know. I don't
know.
know.
But Jeff Austin, of course, is our station fearless leader.
Yeah, he's more of a figurehead.
But anyway,
sort of thing.
Texted Cooley and I said, hey, tomorrow's game 4, and you and I have a little business to tend to here at about 4:00, and then I want to invite you to watch game 4 with me.
Ooh.
I said this to Cooley. This was yesterday at like noon.
Did he accept?
He has not responded.
I was going to say.
And that I love. that means
Is he a coward?
He doesn't know what to do.
No.
Or is the sales retreat just that big of a deal?
Is that where they're at a retreat?
I think so. We haven't seen any of them for 2 days.
Some of them have come back, though. I saw
Oh, did
salesman Kurt Ludwig.
Oh, that's right. He did come back.
He's back.
Yeah. Well, the drunk ones are still there.
That's true.
So
No,
anyway,
he wants nothing to do with that.
He wants nothing to do
He
with
wants
that.
nothing.
And it was his suggestion before the series, hey, we should watch a game together. I'm like, all right, well, guess what? We don't have a show Thursday. The big game 4 in Kansas City. Lace them up, you little bitch. Let's go.
If that happens, I would like to come and just be a fly on the wall. Like you need like a judge. You need like someone that's fair and impartial. Although I hate the Yankees, so I don't know how fair and impartial I'll be. But I would just like to be there to see it because I do think that you have rattled the cages of both Yankee fans.
This is what I wanted.
And it's fantastic.
I'm cooking on their grill.
You are
and
cooking
I'm just
on
a little
their grill
Royals
right
fan.
now. Yeah.
The little Royals.
You know what? I'm going to cook on your grill.
You know, dude, you're not just cooking on the grill. You're bringing like grilled onions. You're doing different stuff.
you know what?
It's got a hibachi.
Here's another thing. Another thing is, and I don't know if the Royals are going to win the series, but I'm telling you, those Yankees are overrated, and I think they know it. I think they're starting to see it. They're like, oh, if Judge doesn't hit 80 bombs, we don't have a lot of guys who can come through.
Well, I think the Phillies have some of this too, man. You were talking about the other day when your lineup is all mashers and you get to the postseason and the mash isn't working. You know, you can find yourself striking out an awful lot.
Yeah. Tigers beat the Guardians today.
Yeah, well,
too.
that's a whole other thing.
Now, that's a surprise.
That's a surprise. Like, the Mets were supposed to be good, and then they stunk, and then they decided to be good again. The Tigers weren't really supposed to be good. They decided not to be good. They got rid of a bunch of people, and then for some unknown reason, they got good again. Like, that is...
Well, they brought up a bunch of good young players.
That is the definition of what the hell.
So it's not
the Tigers are really the story.
It's not unknown. It's they went young.
Yeah.
And they got better.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, and they're on the doorstep now of closing out and closing out the Indians or Guardians, sorry. And are we on the
canceled?
Are we on the precipice of having another Bumgardner? I mean, what?
Who are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about for the Tigers?
Scooble? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah,
Scooble.
He's pretty.
Well,
damn
he didn't
good.
pitch today.
He didn't pitch today. He gets. Does he get tomorrow?
I think he gets tomorrow,
Yeah,
and that's my.
he can close
Have
it
you
out.
seen his 2 games though that he's pitched?
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's been.
So I'm saying
awesome.
if he goes tomorrow and he closes out the Guardians, dude, we got a little. And he's firing. He's telling people to F off. His mom's texting him and telling him to knock it off. He's got just that. He's got a little postseason something going with the Tigers.
Well, I thought the Guardians would take care of them.
Yeah.
But
No.
Stephen Kwan had 3 hits today. The rest of the team had 3 hits.
Yeah.
They scored. They did nothing.
No, they got shut down 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah.
They did nothing. And the Tigers had a bullpen game.
Yeah.
Like they have no other pitchers outside of Scooble that start.
Yeah.
And yet here they are.
Yeah. It's the damnedest
with
thing,
all
man.
these arms who throw like an inning in the third and they never give up S.
And yet somehow it's working.
It's
I
crazy.
got to think, but I think he's going tomorrow. And that's kind of because obviously I've seen a bunch of stuff on him. And it's like, dude, if he goes and closes them out again, we've got a situation here where you just get a guy that's unhittable that can win you 2 games every series. And when it goes to 7, maybe he wins you 3.
Well, it's a big day. 1, because we don't have a show tomorrow.
Yeah, Detroit
So we
says
have-
undecided, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
we'll see.
I wonder what they'll do. Like, who else do they even have?
Well, it's either you go him or do you just think, hey, we hold him back, get an extra day, and then if you need him in game 5, you drop the hammer.
Well, when did he pitch last, you say? That was
Go back. When did he pitch? How many days?
No,
were
it was
rested?
Monday.
Was it Monday?
Wait, what is today?
Today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. So Thursday would be the game.
But if it's his turn and he's ready, I don't think you hold him back. I think you just.
Yeah, he pitched Monday.
No, he didn't pitch. Did he?
Yeah, he did. Because they lost Saturday. They got smoked. So he had to have pitched Monday.
Had to pitch Monday.
Because he didn't pitch today.
No, he didn't.
Unless he just pitched like on Sunday in some random gym somewhere.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, he's just out there throwing some Jim Harbaugh milk games.
So if he pitched Monday, he ain't pitching tomorrow.
A lot of milk.
Yeah, he'll. I guess.
Hence the undecided.
Yeah, just undecided, and then you hold him back, and if you don't get it, you know that you've got that as a ace in your pocket.
Yeah, game 5 of that series would be Saturday.
Saturday.
And that would be Scooble.
Yeah.
Game 4 is tomorrow. They're up 2-1.
Yes.
Over the Guardians. All right. Well, I'm out of here.
You don't want to talk about Spencer Rattler or
What?
No hot Spencer Rattler news.
I don't care about Spencer Rattler.
You don't.
No.
Well, he's starting for one of the 16 NFL games.
I know.
Weekend.
Someone has correctly pointed out that you do have the opportunity to have a parlay against Drake May and Spencer Rattler this weekend. Just saying.
That's
okay.
tasty.
Wait, who are they playing? Because I thought
The
Hainer
Saints
came
play
in.
the Bucks.
Saints play the Bucks.
Yeah, and Hainer
then
did come
the
in. They're
Texans-
bypassing him.
I think it's the Texans.
So
and the
they have
Pats.
Hainer and Rattler?
Yes, and Hainer came in when Carr got hurt,
Yeah.
but they're going to Rattler.
Why?
So I don't know.
I don't know if Hainer got hurt or if they just want to give Rattler a crack. I'm not sure.
well,
Supposedly-
Hainer didn't look good.
Well, and supposedly Rattler was playing well in the preseason. There was some talk that they liked him and that could he compete for that job. But I get Spencer Rattler versus the Bucks, and I get Drake May versus the Texans. I'll tell you what, I like a little parlay against rookie quarterbacks. Let's go.
Who the Patriots playing again, you said?
Patriots at home against the Texans, Saints at
Oh.
home against the Bucks.
Okay. That is exciting.
It is exciting.
Gets my sports pants tight.
Yeah. Hot NFL sports pants.
No, guys, we have a big show because we have no show tomorrow.
Yes.
So we're moving Dan Lanning to Friday, Joey Harrington Friday. Today, Bar 2 is coming on. Do you know him, Dave Bar 2?
I'm familiar with his work.
The Matrix.
Yes.
He has hot thoughts on Ohio State and Oregon.
I think everyone has hot thoughts on Ohio State and Oregon.
I got to tell you, I don't.
You don't?
I can't wait for the game.
I bet his are the most data-driven
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
scientific
yeah.
and not about feel.
And that's what I like about him is like I don't know what to think of this game. I just can't wait for them to lace him up and see what happens.
Yeah.
If there's any person of all the stupid pundits who spew their hot takes, if there's any person I actually want to hear how they frame this game, it's Bar 2.
Yeah.
Because he comes with actual data.
Yes.
And I don't know what to make of the data because neither team has really played anyone that great.
Take that
You know what
for
I'm saying?
data.
So the
This is-
data that I always look at, I'm like, well, is that overinflated because I haven't played anyone or this or that?
This
So
game
Bar
is
2 is going to tell us all kinds of things. And that, Jason, is going to be at 5:15.
This game is the definition of the numbers tell you one thing and then your eyes say you haven't played anyone. So yeah, you don't know what to make of it. I'm not going to say that any of these numbers are hollow because both teams are obviously really good. Ohio State has better numbers in most categories. They just do. But
again,
they haven't played anyone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I think Dave's numbers are, or how he views this game will be a bigger picture view, and I'm interested in that because, you know, like I said yesterday, I can't be convinced that Oregon is as talented as Ohio State. I just can't be. But maybe Dave comes on here and says, you know what, they actually are because he follows all this stuff.
He does.
So that's why we're having Bar 2 on at 5:15.
Yeah, I can. I've just learned over the years. Don't dismiss Dave at your own peril.
That's right.
When Dave brings something, it is not Stephen A. hot takes. It may not always be right. You may not always agree with it, but it is data driven.
The man has been on Vandy this year from game one.
Yes.
And what have they done?
Well, they just beat Alabama.
Oh,
More importantly, Dave had at the beginning of the college football season in the NFL. I always throw out little kind of teaser bets. I'm not going to say I loaded up, but I put a bigger than normal wager when Dave was all in, Jetta and the Bug on Vandy at the first game of the year.
And they were like a 13-point dog or something.
and
It was like a 3.5 or 4-1 money line play.
Yeah, and it was straight Vandy.
well, big show, Bar 2, 5:15. We're going to do a lot of Ohio State, Oregon today. That is the subject of our poll question. We'll start there next, and we'll have Ohio State, Oregon betting numbers coming up on The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube.
Big Wednesday program.
Love our Wednesdays.
We do. We've got both of our teams going to be on during the show. I don't know how guys like do guys like like the big New York yell at the radio guys.
Yeah.
That pretend to be like super huge fans
Sure.
and about the Jets and the Mets.
Boo his ass!
Yeah, that guy Don LaGreca.
Yeah.
Do they watch games during their show?
I don't know.
And what does that sound like?
Like Softy up in Seattle, like he cries.
Yeah,
I
does he watch? Well, what time's he on?
I would assume he watches.
Is he an afternoon guy?
He's a midday guy.
Is it just me or the biggest blowhards the morning guys though? Are there usually not games on when they're on the air?
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Because LaGreca's he's morning.
I
right?
feel like most of that kind of East Coast media, like they're really loud and angry when they first wake up.
Yeah. Look, I can get invested, but you're not.
You
gonna get,
piece of garbage!
you're not gonna get tears out of me or a piece of garbage.
Yeah, I
Lighten
mean,
up, Francis.
we got to balance the show and our
Exactly.
teams and do things for you guys out there. Hot content, but yeah, we're both playing today. All 4 division series in action,
Yeah,
and then no show tomorrow, so we got a lot to squeeze in. Dave Bar 5:15. Let's get to our poll question. Okay,
let's do it.
it's on X at 1080 The Fan. Yesterday we asked you, to date, what is the most memorable game in Autzen Stadium history? 44% of our voters said Kenny Wheaton 1994.
Yeah, that makes sense.
31% said Civil War 2009. A little surprised by that.
Yeah.
Over 14% who said Michigan 2003, and then 11% said Oklahoma 2006.
Forgot about little old Oklahoma, huh? I remember that game and thinking that was a program-defining game. The Civil War makes sense because it was against the Beavs and for the right to go to the Rose Bowl. So I get that.
Today's question: which school would you most want to see come play at Autzen Stadium? Georgia, Alabama, Texas, or Ohio State?
Oh,
Yeah.
to me that's Alabama.
How about that?
You know.
Well, I put Ohio State on there because I want to see how this game. I want to see where Ohio State ranks
Yeah.
amongst those other 3, because I'm guessing Alabama and Georgia will win.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah. It was a bobbled play.
who's that over there?
They should have had it. They should have had it at third.
Oh, that's Vientos.
Yep. Yeah, the little dribbler there, and
Well,
there was a play at the plate.
He's held his own. He's done a
Yes.
good job.
I'm
so.
not gonna. He is not anywhere near my hate bucket, but that should have been an out.
Yeah.
They gave up a run.
1-0 Phillies.
Yeah, it's all right.
4th inning.
That's all right.
Who do you guys got going tomorrow? See, now we're thinking Game 5.
Now we're thinking
Who do
you're
you have-
already into Game 5.
Who do you have going on? Would that be Friday? Tomorrow?
There'd have to be a day off because it would go back to Philly. Who would they be throwing? I mean, if you're back to the top, it would either be if you wanted to, you'd be the Ghost Fork or Peterson.
Oh.
They kind of did because he only threw like 2 innings and then they went to Peterson. So I think if you're going back to the top of the rotation,
If they throw Singa, are you worried? Because
no, I mean he only pitched 2 innings and he gave up the 1, but no, and I'm assuming if you're doing that, you're going to do something similar where you've got Peterson ready to go. Whether you're doing more of a Senge opener and then going to Peterson, or you just see how far you see how far he can go. Now at this point, I'm not worried. I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, if you trust him, he had pitched 1 game all year, and you trusted him to start game 1. You know, they're making the right moves. I am not going to sit here and second guess that. It's not going to be me.
So right now, Alabama is hammering that poll question.
Well, and because
63%.
Well, remember, it's the one that we haven't seen.
No, I know, and I knew Alabama would win. I just thought with it being Ohio State week, I thought Ohio State would be up there. I mean, maybe not with Alabama, but they only have 5% so far. Well, it's Alabama 63.
Is Oregon just doing that? We've already beat Ohio State at Ohio State, so whatever.
Well, additionally, I think if they weren't now in the same conference, if they were still non-conference foes, it might be way different. But you're like, well, of course we're going to see them eventually. They'll come here every other year or something like it.
Texas is second at 21%. Georgia 11%. That's low to me. I would think that Duck fans would want to see Georgia come to Autzen, and then Ohio State at 5%.
Yeah.
How about that?
To me, I mean that's about where I'd go. Clearly it'd be Alabama. Never played them. As far as I know, they've never played. Alabama, even with DeBoer now, I mean, they're the gold standard of college football for the last 20 years. You can't question that. You've already seen Georgia, and by the way, that didn't go so well. You've seen Ohio State. You're going to see Ohio State most years, although some years I'm sure you'll miss them in the Big Ten scheduling. So to me, it's about right. I would go Alabama overwhelming, Georgia 2, and then Ohio State. And then, I think it'd be fun. And that's why, the Big Ten is cool. Like Penn State would be fun. LSU would be fun. I just would like to see different matchups. And I know it's not quite the same because they're not quote back, even though they're undefeated. You know who I would love to see come to Autzen and is Miami.
Yeah, I thought about putting them on there.
I mean, you got Cristobal. The Hurricanes, again, great traditional program. As far like a home and away with Miami would be fantastic.
What about Notre Dame?
Yeah, Notre Dame would be awesome too. Like just stuff like that. Like if I'm a fan and I even thought this way as a player. Like and I know I made a mistake by going to BYU, and I one of my mistakes about BYU, I'm being dead serious, isn't the church and the non-drinking and sex and stuff. There's ways around that. But one of the things that I don't think I fully appreciated when I made the decision to go there was week to week playing New Mexico and UNLV. It sucks. It's just not the same as when had I gone to Oregon or Washington or wherever playing not good, but known commodities week in and week out. But every year when I would look at our schedule, I was always excited, and we scheduled well. We played Notre Dame, we played Virginia, we played Mississippi State, we played Florida State, we played Alabama, Washington, Arizona State. I loved Cal. I loved seeing those games on my schedule. And so as a fan or as a player, I'm telling you, it's all the same thing. No one wants to see like Tallahassee JUCO. No one wants to see that. And so, yeah, it may benefit you scheduling wise, but I promise you, no one in Oregon was excited as those players to play Idaho. No one was excited to play Portland State. Those games don't mean anything to you. It's an extra week of practice. It's an exhibition game, and it stinks. And so I would just love to get to the point where you look up on a regular basis and we're seeing teams that we don't traditionally see because there's so many good programs out there. I'm excited for Oregon-Wisconsin later this year. That's a great game. Throw Iowa in the mix. Just being able to see different teams that you don't traditionally see that are known commodities, even if they're not top 10 teams, that's good for a fan base. It's good for players.
Yeah, somebody asked, when is the last time Alabama came out west? Didn't they just a couple years ago?
Yeah, they played SC and beat the brakes off of them.
Where was that game?
It might have been in Vegas.
That sounds right.
I think that's right.
Yeah, it might have been in Vegas, and they absolutely thumped them. Georgia came out and played Arizona State a couple years ago, beat the brakes off them. So I understand they never come out, but when they do, guys, dude, they kick your ass. So
I think that's why Alabama and Georgia win this poll.
Yeah, you just
actually Texas is second, but I think the SEC has a little bit more cachet people want to see.
Yeah, people are always, and some people are saying it was in Dallas. I know that we get the all, the butt hurt and like, oh, they never go anywhere. Well, beat them and force them to. Like, and I know that when Oregon played Georgia, it wasn't out west. But do you really think if that game had been played in SoFi, it would have made a difference?
Or in Vegas?
Dude, they beat you 49-3. When Oregon went and played LSU, dude, LSU, and that was in Dallas too. LSU just whipped your ass. Like, you got to win those games. And then you can start doing they never go anywhere. But when you do get a chance to play those teams and they bludgeon you and leave you beaten and broken, it's hard to turn around and be like, well, they don't go anywhere. You got to stop with that mentality. And Oregon, by the way, is like when Oregon went to Ohio State, they went into the den and they beat Ohio State's ass. That's the sort of thing you have to do on a consistent basis in order to start being able to do that. Well, no one travels anywhere, because believe it or not, it may be, quote, neutral site games, but the Georgias and the Bamas, their non-con is usually a pretty decent schedule. Like, there's usually one or two really good matchups in there. Texas and Michigan played, for God's sakes, this year in a non-conference game to start the season.
Yeah, you don't
Lace them up, you little bitch.
You don't
Let's
really
go.
need Bama. Well, you don't need to schedule tough non-conference games anymore.
No.
I mean, those games are, you're in the Big Ten now, so probably aren't going to see any home and homes with. Not that they would do it anyway, but the Alabamas of the world. I'm seeing here on internet, and I'm doing preliminary research here, so please understand that this could change as my research team tackles this topic.
You're doing your own research?
The last time, yes, that's what my fearless leader told me to do.
I do like the own research, yes.
The last time Alabama played a non-bowl, non-conference away game west of the Mississippi was University of Colorado in Boulder, 2017.
Okay.
And looking at their schedule, that does seem to check out.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing a lot of West Coast. I thought they came out west recently, but maybe that Georgia game at Arizona State, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I know occasionally there is one of those games, and it's always when you see it, you're like, that's kind of fun. And but you got to start winning some of those.
Or LSU played USC in Vegas.
LSU played, yeah. Well, and now that we have Vegas and SoFi, if we are getting these neutral site games, it used to be those neutral site games always were in Atlanta and Texas and Florida. But now that we have SoFi and Vegas, we're seeing more of those games going to those locations because they're big NFL stadiums. They can hold a lot, and there's a lot of money to be generated.
I am now not able to corroborate the Colorado trip. So I am back to 2016. I'm still going. I'm looking for a West Coast.
It's been a minute.
Non-conference football game. Well, obviously non-conference, but a West Coast football game for Alabama. Yeah. I'm trying to find one.
Vancouver Ford text line says that Alabama goes to Arizona in 2032. So there's that.
Wow, really?
Hey, that's fun.
I mean, I haven't fact checked.
Well, they're not going to play that.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Zero chance they go there.
You never know. Yeah, you
know.
know.
But it's on the schedule.
I pretty much know. Yeah, 2014. I'm just going to keep going. I'm keeping the Seggy here until we
find something.
Put your big boy pants on. Rop is here.
You know what? And this is kind of my point that I laugh at anyone trying to throw shade at Alabama. You know what anyone at Alabama will say to this little segment where we don't play anyone? Alabama's going to hold up not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, 6, I believe. Saban won there because then he wins 7 total, one of them in LSU. So
I think that's right.
I think Nick has 6. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they don't care.
No, they don't because, again, they have 6 championships.
But the fans here want a shot at Alabama. They want Bama.
Then make the national championship game.
Well, they're trying.
Because that's where they're at. That's like me taking a shot at Golden State. I'm like, your dynasty sucks. Bunch of cowards.
Well, could you make the argument that Ducks have gone to the championship twice and Alabama ducked them?
Yeah, they weren't even in it.
Exactly.
Twice.
They're ducking them. They don't want.
Freaking Auburn showed up.
They don't want this smoke.
They don't want them. They don't want any of this.
I'm back at 2007 and I got nothing. So I don't think they've ever come out west. Let's go ahead and just say that.
It's never happened.
It's never happened.
Well, I think Alabama, I don't remember if it was Alabama or if it was USC that went there, but USC did force Alabama to allow black players into their team. That did happen. I was like in like the late 60s, early 70s.
They're welcome.
Alabama played USC and what? It didn't go so well. And like the very next season, Bear Bryant was like, yeah, we should probably get some black guys on our team. And then the rest of the South was like, yeah, probably. Yeah. You think about that. That was in basically in our lifetime that the idea was that there's no way that those black guys can compete against the whites in football. That was a real thought. That really happened in our lifetime. Amazing.
All right, there's your poll. Vote on X at 1080 The Fan. Which school would you most want to see come play at Autzen Stadium? Alabama blowing the doors off the competition. Yeah. They're followed by Texas, then Georgia, and Ohio State only at 5%.
Someone said, I'd love to see DeBoer come back and beat Oregon for a 4th time.
Is that another reason why people are picking Alabama here?
That's a great text. Whoever sent that in, kudos to you.
That's good, Zinger.
That was well played.
You think that's another reason they're picking Alabama?
Maybe.
Is DeBoer.
Another shot at DeBoer. Do you want another shot at DeBoer?
Bring that dude
Do you
on.
see the smoke that he's catching for wearing T-shirts?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. You can't lose wearing a T-shirt.
Yeah, you can't be wearing T-shirts out there.
Dude. Throw a collar on. Saban's disgusted. Throw a quarter zip on that you got from Costco like a real man.
What is this, bowling?
You don't wear a T-shirt bowling.
See?
Collared shirts.
That's my point.
Even the dude
Not
knows
even
that.
in bowling.
Not even in bowling.
All right, let's get to some betting numbers. Oregon, Ohio State. Next, here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Reynolds Defense Firm. If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today, online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on The Fan, a full slate of playoff baseball today. The Tigers take Game 3 from the Guardians in Detroit, take a 2-1 series lead. They win that one 3-0. In the National League right now, Game 4 between the Mets and the Phillies has Philadelphia up 1-0 as the Mets are trying to close out that series while Philly tries to avoid elimination. Just after 4 o'clock, Game 3 between the Yankees and Royals back in Kansas City. And in the late game, the Padres will look to close out the Dodgers in Game 4 of the NLDS. In the NFL, Gardner Minshew out as the starting quarterback in Las Vegas. Aiden O'Connell will take over as the Raiders signal caller. The Texans send the NFL's leading receiver to the IR as Nico Collins will miss at least 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. And Saints head coach Dennis Allen announced today it won't be Jake Hayner replacing the injured Derek Carr. It'll be Spencer Rattler getting his first NFL start against the Bucs. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports league.
today. Don't have my drop board over here. I don't know what's going on with this computer.
Whoa, that's not good.
No, I reset it and everything because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Reset it.
Yeah, when in doubt, turn it off. Turn
Are
it back
you
on.
logged in?
Yeah.
If you tried hitting it. If you tried
Oh no,
cursing
let's
at
try
it.
that. You want me to hit it
Yeah.
live on the air?
Call it a bitch.
Are you guys ready?
See what happens. How'd that work?
It didn't work.
There's nothing better than when you do something like that and it does work, and you're like, oh,
sometimes
my.
it does.
Yeah, sometimes it
you
works.
freaking bitch! Come on, you piece of. Well, anyway, I've got some betting numbers. Ohio State, Oregon, if you'd like.
Yeah, what do we got?
Well, how do you think Ohio State does in top 5 matchups? They
don't
played
think-
a lot of them.
I don't think anyone does great in top 5 matchups. It's usually about a 50-50 curve. So I'll say that. I'll say they're about 50%.
In top 5 matchups, Ohio State has now lost 3 straight and 4 of the last 5.
Okay.
They are
Some of that's Michigan, obviously, right?
against top 10 teams since 2018. They are 6-13-1 against the spread.
Oh, all right. So, and they're favored by what? 3.5, 4?
Depending on where you look, I believe that is correct.
Yeah. So
that is the second worst number against the spread against the top 10 in college football, behind Michigan State,
very intriguing.
who is 3-13 against the spread. By the way, these numbers come to us from Action Network.
Okay.
Okay. Got
I
to
don't know if
cite
that
the.
has anything to do with anything, but yeah,
No,
just
it
leads you to
doesn't.
believe that they haven't been great in those big games.
Maybe a little overvalued in big games.
Possible. But I'm telling you, I've looked at this over the years, and most of the time, even the big boys, the Sabins and the Kirby Smarts, you know, and Bartu talks about this a lot, that most of those teams, like 95% of the games they play, they have an overwhelming amount of talent versus the other squad. When you get, even Chip was like this. Remember, Chip was rolling people when he was at Oregon. But when Chip played people that out recruited him or better, you know, the Auburns and the LSUs of the world, Chip was about a 500 football coach, which is kind of on par for most of the teams. Although it sounds like Ohio State is, you know, they've
Not that great, Bob.
not that great recently. And again, some of that's probably going to be the college football playoff. And you know, Michigan is what, 3 straight years Michigan's got them, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct, JC Babes.
So I mean, that's 3 of those.
No, didn't Ohio State beat him? No, they beat him last year.
Michigan got him.
They won the title.
Michigan got him at least the last 2 years, and I think they've got him the last 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. James
I
Franklin.
love Kirk Franklin.
Yeah, Kirk Franklin of the singing variety. James Franklin is awful in those games. And you know,
You're
that's
speaking Japanese.
and that's like the Bo Pelini thing, right? I mean, Bo Pelini, like there's some guys that win 9-10 games every year, see James Franklin, but they can't win the games that matter.
You're making me uncomfortable.
And that's the big boys. Big game Bob Stoops made his name off of that. And then for the last 10 years he was at Oklahoma, Bob was the definition of meh.
Okay, do you know when the last time Oregon was a home dog?
Last time Oregon was a home dog.
It's been a while.
Trying to think of who would have rolled in here. Well, they had some the down year, like the Helfrich year.
Mhm.
Someone had to. It had to be like that. With it,
Well, it was later than that.
it was later than that.
Yeah.
Cristobal.
2018,
Okay.
the Ducks were home dogs to Washington with Justin Herbert and CJ Verdell, and they won. They beat him in overtime,
Oh,
30-27.
so everything. By the way, at this point, load up all your life savings on Oregon versus Ohio State.
Now, here's the other one. When was the last time the Ducks were a home dog against a team not based in the Mountain or Pacific time zone?
Run that by me again.
When was the last time Oregon was a home dog against a team not based in the Mountain or Pacific time zone?
A home dog. So someone that came from Central to East. They were favorites against maybe that Michigan squad.
2003 Michigan.
Yeah.
And Oregon won that
Oregon
game.
won that game.
31-27. Prior to Alabama v. Georgia a few weeks ago, which that game was won by Alabama, the last top 5 team to close as a home underdog against another top 5 team was Notre Dame in 2020 against Clemson. And Notre Dame won that game.
So what we're saying here
47-40.
is there is no chance that Oregon loses this game.
I don't think Ohio State should show up.
No, they shouldn't. I mean, What is Ohio State doing?
What
are
are
the
they
troops
even doing?
fighting for? What is Ohio State doing?
Why are you even coming here?
What are the Colorado Rockies? Oregon is going to crush Ohio State.
The best part of football is football. And so you got to do football.
They will do
They're
football.
gonna do football.
They will do it. Not as well as Oregon, but they will do football.
Top 5 home dogs in top 5 matchups. This is the last 30 years. Okay, so now we're going bigger sample size here.
Yeah, that is a big sample size.
Top 5 home underdogs in top 5 matchups the last 30 years. There have been 17 of those, and the underdog has won outright only 8 times. 8 and 9.
Interesting. Who were the? Do we?
No, wrong.
Wrong.
That is straight up. I'm sorry. That is the ATS number against the spread.
Okay.
The home underdog in the top 5 matchup has covered 8 of the 17 times. They have won 5 of the 17 times.
Okay.
So they are 5 and 12.
So that's the first one that leads you to believe that Oregon may not win by 40
So maybe
points.
Ohio State does get on the bus.
Barely.
Or the plane.
They think about getting on the plane.
Or the chopper.
Breaking the door with a double, by the way.
Top 5 home underdogs since 1990. So if you're in the top 5 and you are an underdog at home, since 1990, there have been 72 of those games.
Boy, that's way more than I would have thought.
Well, again, this isn't against other top 5 teams.
Yeah,
this
is
is just
your top 5.
You're an underdog and you're a top 5 team.
But most of the time,
at home.
if you're a top 5 team at home,
You're not an underdog.
although
often.
to be fair, there are a lot of years where you get top 5 teams
Yes.
that like
conference games.
right and
think like Georgia, Bama, things like that.
Yeah, weird things happen.
Lowell, like this one,
Yeah.
Oregon, Ohio State.
Yeah.
The straight up number, 72 games. The home underdog has won only 19 of those games.
Ooh, that's not good.
So Ohio State should come out
Ohio State probably now
on second thought.
Probably on second thought are going to get on the airplane. Probably.
Yeah. And against the spread, the home dog is 29, 42, and 1.
So if you're top 5 and a home dog, you may be in trouble.
Well,
since 1990,
I wonder
the last
how much,
34 years.
I
basically.
wonder how much of that is like when you're a home dog and you're a top 5 team. That if you're a dog, that means the team coming for you is pretty, like you said. That's that Alabama's coming in to cook on your grill.
They're eating the dogs.
And by the way, that may be Ohio State
literally eating the dogs.
Like going into this game, remember Urban Meyer at the start of the year, and Urban says like, "Hey, dude, I am not blowing smoke." He thinks that this right here is the best Ohio State team in this kind of whatever this run of it. And there's a lot of people that were saying that at the start of the year, and that may be the case. We just don't know. We at the end of this game, we may look up and be like, "Yeah, that Ohio State team was really good." We don't know because they haven't played anybody.
Well, I just think guys like him in shows like that are prone to hyperbole like that.
Sure.
And of course, he coached there, and
but there is a lot of smart people that say that this
I understand.
team is
But I think
loaded.
that when you have a team, what are you drinking over there?
That would be a Monster Ultra Peach.
Sounds hot.
It's actually quite cold.
I think when you, I don't know. I need to see a special quarterback. I'm not sure that they have that. You know, it's like I think back to C.J. Stroud, and didn't that team? Who did they lose to when they lost in a shootout with Stroud in the playoff by a field goal?
Who did they lose
Playoffs.
to?
You remember that?
I do kind of remember that. I'd have to go
That
back
team
and take
was
a look.
damn good,
Yes,
and
it was.
they lost in the semifinal.
Was it Georgia?
Georgia?
Was that the one where the kid missed the field goal at the
right
end?
at the end?
I think that might
And I
have
think
been.
everyone counted the Ohio State out.
I think that was
I
the year that
think
it
Bama
was
played
Georgia.
Georgia in the final. I
Yes.
just don't remember which one they played. Ohio State played.
I think that was the Georgia game, and I think everyone was like, "Oh, Georgia's going to smoke Ohio State." And
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud, they dropped like 50 on him.
It was Georgia.
Yeah.
Yep.
That team was pretty damn
Yeah,
good.
he went-
even though they didn't
And
win.
Ohio State had a kick for the win that should have been made.
Yeah, he
but
went
wasn't.
23 of 34, 4 tutties, and he carved him up. But yeah, they missed a field goal. It was a long field goal, but they missed it.
I just think when you're saying things like that, oftentimes, you know, these teams like Ohio State are always loaded with talent.
Yeah.
but oftentimes their most special teams of all of the loaded teams have that really special quarterback. I think back to the Clemson teams with Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence.
And Will Howard probably doesn't
That's not the
fit
guy.
that mold.
That's not the
But
guy.
neither does Dylan Gabriel, which is kind of fun because it's the same.
Yeah, but they're not in the same class
No,
as
no.
Urban Meyer saying that this is Ohio State's most talented team ever. Or what did he say? This is their best team ever? Especially 5 games in when they haven't played anybody. Come on,
Well, he
man.
said that before the season even started.
All right.
So.
All right. Well,
we'll see.
Maybe he's right, but I think he's full of crap.
Well, that's what I'm saying. At the end of this game, we may look back and be like, oh, Georgia was a lot of hype, or excuse me, Ohio State, or we look back at like what Georgia was, and we're like, this is a real good team. Well,
so the Georgia team that whipped the crap out of Dan Lanning, that team,
they won a national title.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
they
Stetson
did.
Bennett,
So
Mark Bowers,
it was the back-to-back. So Lanning won the first one with them.
Yes,
correct.
And then they kicked his ass.
Yes.
When he comes here and they win again.
Yes.
And now he wins one.
And that team was actually
they were loaded.
Unlike
and their quarterback.
Yeah, it's Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
Like we don't know what the Ohio State team is all about. That Georgia team, we know what that was about.
Of course, Stetson Bennett is not like. I mean, I don't think he falls into that. Deshaun Watson.
No, but he was
Trevor Lawrence, Jameis Winston.
He was a really good college.
Because Winston's another one. When Oregon has been special with Mariota.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
And you're talking about quarterbacks that win a big game. Dylan Gabriel beat number 3 Texas in the Red River game last year, so he's done it against a top 3 opponent.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel. Is he getting some smoke?
I don't know if he's getting smoke. Look,
He's
Dylan
He hasn't
Gabriel's
looked as
good.
sharp, to be fair.
I think we believed that Dylan Gabriel was going to be Bo Nix Part 2 or better, and I know it's early on. That's a disservice to Bo Nix. As good as Dylan Gabriel has been, Bo Nix was a better quarterback to me, significant better quarterback than what Dylan Gabriel
Well,
is.
and Bo Nix year 2 was leaps and bounds ahead of Bo Nix year 1, and Gabriel's in year 1 here,
and
the only year.
You got to remember too that Gabriel doesn't quite have the O-line quite yet.
True.
That Knicks had.
Nope. A lot of weapons on the outside though.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can't, like, they've had to move him around a bit here, and they didn't have to do that with Knicks. They were just picking people apart.
Yeah.
Great offensive line. All right, we got to go. Coming up next, an unlikely ally for the Ducks, complete with sports audio on the Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt. You're not the doormat that you've always been.
see Pete Alonso just struck out a couple guys on. But I think you have to give him a break because, as we just learned, you and I were Googling, Pete Alonso is from Tampa.
Yeah, heavy heart.
Perhaps a heavy heart. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting bombarded right now.
Yeah, I say it's downgraded though. It's not a Category 5 anymore, but it's going to cause some serious problems down there in Tampa.
All right. Well, I've got an audio clip to play for you to wrap up the hour here.
Yeah, what do we got?
I have Rick Neuheisel for you.
Oh, what's old Ricky up to?
I don't know, quite honestly. But he's on some college football show.
I believe he's on the CBS Sports Network.
There you go.
Yeah, I hear him from time to time.
And he's backing your Ducks.
Oh, all right. What does old Ricky got to say?
You're impeccable with your information, but have you ever been to Autzen when those people get turned out?
No.
As Diego Pavia
Yeah, I
would
was gonna
say.
say.
Right? This is going to be wild. This is going to be maniacal, and Eugene will come to life. And Dylan Gabriel also knows how to play on this kind of stage, having done it against your Longhorns a year ago.
How did he do
Over
against
100
the
yards rushing in that
you
game.
taking?
I'm taking the Ducks.
Ooh.
The Ducks are winning at home.
Ah, there you go.
Okay. Oh, blimey. Sorry. Mets had 2 on, 1 out, and they couldn't get one across. It's interesting that I've seen a lot of people make this pick, and like if we're doing this, and I was going to tell you the reasons why Ohio State's going to win, and I've listened to a lot of people talk about this, and I have my own views, and I do find it interesting that with Ohio State, there's a lot you point to. And you say, hey, this is why I think Ohio State is going to win, right? Numbers, here we go. This is what they've done. Red zone efficiency versus some of the deficiencies in Oregon. You know what? Really, the only thing I've heard for why Oregon's going to win, it really is the only thing, is home. That's it. I've listened to Neuheisel there. What did he just say? You said Dylan Gabriel in a big game. Okay.
That's not a very good reason, is it?
It's not. And look, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm telling you, listen to as many people as you want. And I'm telling you, I noticed this morning when I was going through, and I listened to probably 4 more of these, and I was kind of reading about the game, and I was trying to look at some different highlight packages and clips, because I'm kind of a football nerd. I like learning about these things, and I like watching film, and I like being able to see it with my own eyes and be like, okay, I see where someone's coming from. And it is almost universal. The idea, if you're picking Oregon, it's one of 2 things. It's they're going to figure it out, that it's too talented a team to keep playing this way, and that they're eventually going to pop. And I find that interesting because if you're going to pop, that's a hell of a week to pop.
Yeah, why wouldn't you have done it against a lesser opponent?
It's a hell of a week to decide to put it all together. And not that can't happen. And the other one is just simply you're at home. And while those are I'm not saying that either one of those is a bad reason. I just find it interesting that the majority of people that make that pick, it's along the lines. I have heard that multiple times from the Rick Neuheisels of the world, that it's like, hey, Dylan Gabriel won't be shook in big games, and it's at home.
So the other thing I think happens is, like, when they play at 11 p.m. on the East Coast on a Friday against Michigan State, I don't know that many people are watching. I think people are just spitting stuff out, and there aren't that many reference points for either of these teams because they both haven't played a very impressive schedule, save for Boise State. So I think this is the kind of analysis you get on an early season big game like this when you don't really know about teams. I mean, if I were to call the reason why, I think Oregon's defense could be like special elite, like really, really good all 3 levels. I think they could shut Ohio State down. But that's not what you're hearing from all the national talking heads. It's Autzen, or they'll figure it out, like you said.
Or we just let them play and then see what happens.
Exactly.
Isn't that more fun?
It's going to be my thing. See how this goes. But that's why I say it. If I'm making a pick, I can only go with what I've seen with my own 2 eyes. And you're lying to yourself if you say that through the 5 weeks that Oregon looks better than Ohio State, because they just don't. Now, you can say schedule. You can say that one's been tested more than the other one. One played Iowa. The other one played Boise State. Those are the only 2 tests that either one of them's got. But you're fooling yourself, and you're lying if you say that Oregon has looked better than Ohio State. Doesn't mean that they can't win, but Ohio State right now through 5 weeks has been the better team.
We'll have more on this game with the great, the indelible Dave Bartu of the College Football Matrix. He will join us today at 5:15. But up next, a baseball ball bag.
Interesting.
On the Fan. Are your balls jiggling?
1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by PG Long Floor Covering, carpet, hardwood, or laminate. Flooring, cleaning, or restoration. Call PG Long, your Northwest flooring experts. PGLongLLC.com. First on the Fan. A full slate of playoff baseball today. In the early game, the Tigers beat the Guardians in Game 3, 3-0 the final. Detroit takes a 2-1 series lead. They can close things out tomorrow. In the National League, Game 4 between the Mets and Phillies going on right now, and Philadelphia clinging to a 1-0 lead over the Mets in the top of the 6th inning. The Mets are looking to close out the series, while the Phillies looking to avoid elimination. Just after 4 o'clock, in a matter of moments, it'll be the Yankees and the Royals doing battle in Kansas City. That series is currently tied a game apiece. Clark Schmidt gets the start for New York. Seth Lugo takes the hill for KC. And in the late game, the Padres look to close out the Dodgers in Game 4 of the NLDS. It's a bullpen game for the Dodgers, with Dylan Cease taking the hill for the Friars. First pitch of that one just after 6 o'clock. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The original home of the Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays 9 to noon. 1080 The Fan.
What's the most resilient parasite?
Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
Can build cities, can transform the world, and rewrite all the rules.
That's what I'll be doing every single night.
Which is why
No!
I have to steal it.
What are you talking about, Willis?
This is Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
It's gonna work. It's passable, okay? This isn't terrible.
The best in local, regional, and national sports. With no hidden agenda. Primetime with Isaac and Sue on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back. Hour 2 of our Wednesday program.
I'm watching live hurricane coverage right now.
Yeah?
And
what do we got?
It's just...
Is it hitting?
Yeah, it's hitting. It's a Category 3,
but
it's hitting around the Tampa area. But just the poor bastards from like the Weather Channel, and there's some guy from Fox Weather right now. He's literally standing in like thigh deep water, and he's got like an adventure helmet on, and he's just out there just getting his ass kicked. But he's like, do you really need, like, who is that for?
I've always asked that question, like, why, especially with the technology we have, why do we need to put someone in harm's way just to prove this is happening? We have cameras, we have good equipment.
Well, you're watching it.
Well, I mean, I'm scrolling through like on Twitter, and I got another bro here from the Weather Channel. He's wearing a baseball helmet and safety goggles, and there's stuff flying by his head. He's like ducking out of the way of things. Like, you know, has ever one of these weather guys actually been swept away by any of this? It's like Brian Kelly sent one up in a scissors lift. Is that necessary?
This is their Super Bowl.
This
Jason.
is their Super Bowl.
This is what they were built for.
Like, you know, locally, we send someone out to Hood River for a puddle that may or may not freeze over. If you're down in Florida, dude, you're in the thick of it. It's like deadliest catch out there.
I know. I saw
This is Robert Ray, by the way, is the guy from Fox that's thigh deep in storm surge.
I saw an interview with a family who lost their 4th house to a hurricane.
Yikes.
I couldn't believe that.
Do they just have bad luck of the places they choose to go, or is it all in the same place that they've lost their home?
It's roughly in the same area. But then the guy's like, well, so the mom's like, oh, I'm devastated. And then, of course...
Are you even devastated after number 3? You're like,
I'm sitting there going like, well, effing move.
Might be time to leave.
And then the guy comes on, the husband, and he's like, well, we have another house down the street. This one we don't much care about. That one, I'm hoping it's okay.
They got like a 3 Little Pigs situation going on. They keep building the house out of different things till one day it stands.
I gotta tell you, man, I wouldn't live, even if it were nice down there, which I don't think it is all that much. I mean, I'm not a huge Florida guy. I don't think I'd live there because of the hurricanes. Like, that's some of those areas, like you're toast.
I lived in Tampa for 2 years, and I never got anything bad. We got a couple tropical storms, but I never had to. I never had to weather the hurricane.
But people that live in the floodplain, they buy homes in
the plains,
and it's just like, why are you even doing this?
Hawaii is this way. The people that live in the lava fields, but it's like the only affordable place to live in Hawaii. But like, and by the way, lava comes.
You're asking for it.
Have you seen the Lieutenant Dan guy down in Tampa?
Yeah, we've got his audio. We were going to cover that in the club tonight. I did see an update on him.
Yeah, is he dead yet?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Well, maybe. Yeah. But the last update I saw was he had to he was out cutting off one of the ropes on his boat because it was hitting the seawall.
Ah.
And he didn't like that.
No,
it's not good for the boat.
No.
So he's like, well, I got to cut this rope.
There's a bro on
and they're like, how are you doing? He's like, I'm doing great. Got to cut this rope.
There's a guy in a dinghy down in Tampa. It's like a 15-foot sailboat or
it's
whatever.
20 feet.
20 feet.
20 feet.
20 feet.
Yep.
And God told them to move to Florida and buy a boat.
Can we just do that?
I still have to bleep it, so I don't have it yet.
I was gonna say, let's do that Seggy now.
That dude is, we'll talk about it. There's always one weather all-star in any hurricane. Like the guy, remember the one in New York? There was a guy riding a jet ski out in the harbor. He's like, or there's some dude out with an American flag. And now we got Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, this guy, he's probably gonna die.
I would think so.
And I don't know. Can you just go move him? Like, is that legal or is that?
I don't.
You know what I mean?
I do think you could have mandatory evacuations.
I mean, they're definitely going around. They're showing videos like
they're telling people.
The police going around and be like, hey, you are gonna die.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Well,
but beyond that, can they just like say, dude, you're coming with me?
That I don't know. Like was it the mayor? The mayor of Tampa or Tampon, I believe. She came out and on the news said that if you are in one of the areas that we tell you to evacuate and you do not, she flat out said you are going to die. And I'll tell you what, just a bunch of liberal BS, according to Lieutenant Dan.
That's right.
Don't be giving me that mess.
He said God has always looked out for him, and he will be doing so here. He also says,
"Boy, I'll tell you what, that guy's hearing a different message from God than I ever was."
He also says that, look, guys, it's science. When the water level rises,
it's the best thing ever.
I'm in a boat. I will rise too, as long as I keep the boat or the water out of the boat.
It's the greatest.
So he believes that he will just rise with the water.
That is the greatest line of thinking ever. He said, if there's 100-foot storm surge, it's not a big deal. He'll be on top of the storm.
Yeah, I'm in a boat. He said the safest place to be in water is a boat.
In the middle of a hurricane, where you want to be.
And then he took a puff of his cigarette.
He's not wearing a shirt either.
Yeah, and I think he's a guy, he was like, what do I fear, death? He's like one of those guys. He's like, take me, I don't care.
I kind of enjoy what that guy's bringing to the table.
So anyway, we'll play his audio later. What were we going to do here? What are we doing? What is happening?
I don't know. Who's winning? What's occurring?
Well, I have the other audio for the ball bag, a little Padres baseball ball bag.
Did you hear okay, so the Padres-Dodgers is fascinating to me.
Yes.
Because, one, I find myself rooting for the Padres. I think that city's going crazy for that team, and it's awesome. Their fans are awesome. And then I'm going to say something controversial.
Go for it.
I like Fernando Tatis.
Do you really?
I do.
I hate him.
I like him.
I find the Padres, and it's growing by leaps and bounds every game, I find them entirely unlikable.
So I like Tatis.
Did you see the dancing peacock story going around? That one of the writers, I think it might have been Rosenthal, wrote in like their lead of their last game that the Padres won that with Tatis as their dancing peacock, and he immediately took to social media, started posting pictures of himself with peacock and dancing emojis. So he's their dancing peacock mascot.
Anyway, I like him. Machado.
You don't like him. You can.
I don't love Machado.
You can admit it.
But I don't know. That's just a fun. You got the star power in that series. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
You have Ohtani, and that ended up being a good game, 6-5 last night.
Yeah.
But the
I
best
still
part of the
can't
game.
figure out how Machado's not out on that.
Yeah,
they were trying to claim that it was crafty base running on his part to force an errant throw. Then he ran into the grass and got hit. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. Freddie Freeman said he would have done the same thing. So I guess they just pushed the boundary.
Well, it's good if you can get away with it.
Get called, yeah. So the thing that went viral last night, besides the there's a really cool video of Tatis's home run. He had another home run.
Yeah.
And it was in the second inning against Walker Buehler. There's a really cool vid from a dugout cam where it's just the crack of the bat and the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, really good. Like the announcers aren't in it. It's just, I don't know. There's that stadium. It might be the best one of the 8. 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, of the 8, it might be the best one going right now. Petco Park and what the fans are doing down there. I mean, it's nuts. Anyway, the thing that went viral was Tom DeLonge of...
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
Tom DeLonge of
Blink 182.
Blink 182.
And now he's not the insane one, right?
Yes, he is.
He's the insane one?
He's not that insane. He's the one you're going to call insane because he believes in UFOs.
No, he's insane. Stop trying to not.
He's really not.
He is.
But he is a big Padres fan, I guess.
Right.
And they gave him a microphone, and I think it was in the 7th or 8th inning. They just let him, a la Ryan Buckley's Giants and the great Steve Perry, they just let him sing with the crowd.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Of course, it's kind of a douchey song, but whatever. All the small things. It's very San Diego.
Everyone has half the
They're
songs.
from there, right?
Well, I'm guessing
I
so.
would assume so.
He's walking around in Padres gear.
But I would assume that most of the songs that teams kind of gravitate to, they're kind of cheesy, douchey
Well, the Rangers
songs.
had the stupid Creed song.
Yeah, they had the Lift Me Higher or whatever that
Take
thing was.
Me Higher,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's what
If we get a
happens.
baseball team here in Portland, who is our Tom DeLonge and what song is our All the Small Things?
We don't really have a whole lot of Portland. We've talked about this. We just don't really have a lot of
Yeah, but we'll have somebody. Somebody will step up. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be you?
What do we got? We got
Is it going to be Scoot?
We've got Everclear. We've got Art Alexakis.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
We do that, but that's Santa Monica is their big hit, which is not us. I mean, that's
No, that's it. No, the other one. That other big song they had. I am still living with your.
That's Santa Monica.
Oh, well, there's another one.
But I don't think it says Santa Monica. But it's We Can Live Beside the Ocean, which doesn't really fit us.
What was the other one they had? Father of Mine.
Wonderful. They have AM radio.
What's Wonderful? What's that go like?
I'm trying to think of how that goes. Their big hit.
Yeah, but you're right. Art Alexakis. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's much like Tom DeLonge.
That would be, yes.
Kind of random. Haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is, it's got to be a good sing-along song. They have to have a good sing-along song.
That's
It can't just be a good band.
Well,
Can you play
Santa Monica is a
Santa
pretty
Monica
good sing-along song.
is a good sing-along song.
Yeah.
Can you play Wonderful? Do you have that in there?
Because Father of Mine, I think,
Looking
is
for it.
kind of depressing. Anytime about
Yeah, we
getting
don't want
a
that.
new football or something for Christmas.
Oh, what about I Will Buy You a New Life way up in the West Hill? Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, picture 7th inning. Place is going crazy. They're beating the Yankees.
I am still living with your
Ghost.
And then they hand him a mic.
Yeah.
lonely and dreaming
Dude, I think
of the
West Coast.
West Coast.
West Coast.
There you go.
I don't want to be your downtown.
He's strutting around the stands.
These big black boots coming up.
With my big black boots and an old suitcase.
I could see this.
Yeah, totally.
Do believe I'll find
can see that.
myself a new
Take this, Blink 182.
Suck it.
Now we just need a team.
You think your mid-level rock band is something? Wait till we get ours. I don't think we have much outside of that.
Dance anymore.
Someone on the Vancouver 4 text line put one out that I thought it's catchy. I don't know if it's sing-along enough, though.
Portugal the Man? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, this would be a good stadium jam, but I don't know that people know the words of it.
This is getting pretty obscure, though.
Well, Portugal, they're a big Portland band.
Yeah.
They were in here, actually.
Yeah,
Not too long ago. They signed the wall.
Can't we just get Sam Elliott to just do beef drops? And then we all just get together and, we just...
They did say coming out of left field, so that's apropos.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's good enough to sing along with the whole, like 50,000 people or
Yeah,
whatever.
this doesn't really have a sing-along sort of...
35,000 people.
Doesn't have a vibe to it. Just do something dumb and just do you don't have to be from there. People take Sweet Caroline all the time.
Yeah, that's Boston's bit.
I know.
Steal that.
That's what I'm saying. People just take it. We just need Sam Elliott. Just do
tacos.
What if we just do Mr. Brightside just to piss you off?
Oh my God.
We'll bring in Brandon Flowers.
I certainly hope not. Although that would be the whitest thing we could ever do,
I
which
tell you
would be
what,
Portland.
the one in the Bay with the Giants and Steve Perry. I'm sorry, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I was there for a couple of those. It
Dude,
absolutely ruled
it's so
because
cool.
he'd be like in their little kind of suite level. Most of the game he's in the suite, but they have the like 6 or 8 rows in front that you can walk out, and he'd just be like running up and down the balcony, like belting it out with.
Isn't
people.
it Lights that he sings?
So they always play Lights going into the 9th inning.
Yeah.
That's their deal.
And they show and then you just show the jumbotron focuses on him, and you're like, oh my God, Steve! And then you just start belting it. Come on, it doesn't get any better than that.
It works. The at Red Wings games, they always do they do Journey, the small town boy, South Detroit, and the crowd goes nuts. Although I've always wondered that because the whole point of that song is the kids doing anything to get out of Detroit. But they say South Detroit, so the crowd goes nuts. They play it at the end of games, and everyone's like, South Detroit. Doesn't matter. They get excited. Eddie Vedder has the best one because he wrote a song for the Cubs. You've heard the Someday We'll Go All the Way, right?
Yeah.
That's the best sport-specific song that you can get. When
about
Eddie Vedder writes a song for you about winning the World Series, that's as good as it gets. We need Eddie or someone like that to write us a song.
We don't have Eddie.
I know we don't have
but
Eddie.
we do have Modest Mouse. Now, I like Modest Mouse, and that song, Float On, that could be it.
Yeah.
I hate that song.
That's a very popular song.
It is a very popular song.
And they're from here.
The YouTube chat submits there's a hole in the sky where a tree used to be.
Yes!
I'd play that for you, but I don't have my drop board.
That's so sad.
That is sad.
Where's that? Yeah, why can't we sing that one? Somebody's making
Good
money.
All right.
Yankees do My Way, which is fantastic. Frank.
Well, yeah, they should.
Yeah, some cities just have a bigger advantage.
What did the Mets do? You don't even know.
I don't know if the Mets have a specific.
They've got to have a song, right? At least like a victory song kind of a deal.
We got Grimace. That's all I know.
We do have Grimace.
All right. Well, we got to take a break. More of our baseball ball bag is coming up next on The Fan.
We've been waiting for
asked for a song, a team song.
Let's go, Mets go.
This is from the 1986 VHS classic Let's Go Mets Go, which I did own.
So did they do this at the stadium?
Yeah. They did a whole video. It heavily involved Joe Piscopo, in case you were wondering.
I love Joe Piscopo. Underrated.
Where there's a Mets man, you'll find a Mets fan.
Alive or dead, Joe Piscopo?
Piscopo's still alive.
I think he is. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you positive? You
I'm
don't
positive.
sound sure. I think he's alive.
We would have known if Joe Piscopo had died. I don't know what he's doing. He's 73 years old.
Yeah, still alive.
Still alive. Yes. I don't know why Joe Piscopo was heavily involved in this video, but he was. Gene Shalit was in it as well.
Well, wasn't there a time where Joe Piscopo was heavily involved in everything?
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, he had a run there.
Yeah. They just walked around the city and got people from New York to get excited about the Mets.
Let's go, Mets go.
Yeah.
Cool.
I cannot tell you, like 8-year-old
Brilliantly
me,
catchy.
how many times I watched that entire video. It was ridiculous. And I think if you go back and watch, you can actually see Dwight Gooden doing cocaine in the background.
Wait, are you serious?
Well, like the whole thing starts out, it's sad that I remember this. The whole thing starts out, there's some kids and they're playing they're playing war with baseball cards, right? And the kids are flipping their cards and they lose. The one brother's like, "You lost all my cards." And the kid's like, "What do you want from me? I did my best. You lost all my cards." And then Dwight Gooden and like Roger McDowell come by and are like, "Hey kids, try this." And then they throw down a pack of Mets cards, and then like all hell breaks loose because it's the greatest pack of cards known to man. And then we get into Joe Piscopo singing "Let's Go Mets Go." It really is. For the 1980s, it's a work of art. It really is the finest thing that the Mets have ever done.
Sounds like a time capsule as well.
A lot of people are
really is.
A lot of people are bringing up Louie. If Portland had a baseball team,
the Kingsmen are from Portland, right?
So what we're talking about is if Portland had a baseball team, we get when we get our baseball team.
Yeah.
And then they go to the playoffs, and everybody's going crazy, and then some local minor musician celebrity gets up, like Tom DeLonge, and the whole stadium starts belting out a song.
Yeah.
Louie, that'd be good. Although Richard Berry, probably long dead, but
I bet we can get a grandkid or something.
It's an easy sing-along. There's no words.
Hello. I mean, this is a good party song. Like,
absolutely.
The whole place
People
is
have got their
crazy.
beers in the seventh.
Well,
Yeah, this is good.
I mean, Autzen has shout, and that's all that is.
Yeah.
A little
And
bit
it's
louder.
great.
It's great. I'm with you. I think Louis,
This might be it.
we could
Oh,
get
Salve!
behind this.
Salve.
Yeah.
Salve.
And again, we get some grandkid or some nephew somewhere, and
Oh, that was Guriel.
ran him out there Leonard Skinner style, and he, hey, grandson of the original, blah, 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 and then no one cares, but we get to sing, and everyone's happy and get drunk. And
What if Sam Elliott sung it?
Now we're talking. Throwing in some beef, throw some beef drops for good measure.
Hamburgers.
All right, well, Sook's watching the Mets. I'm watching the Royals. It's Thunderdome in here. That's our baseball ball bag, and
Chateaubriand.
we have time for nothing else.
I want to do the.
We have to go.
I want steak. Is it
Steak Diane.
Yeah, I need some steak. We were looking up what all these different ones were. Now I need to find a place that makes me a steak Diane.
Grilled steaks balsamico. Catalonian beef ragu.
Wait a minute. Wait. What is balsamico?
I'm guessing you make like a balsamic demi-glaze type of a deal that goes with it. But I
steak
don't know.
Diane, there's like a cream sauce involved?
Yeah, we looked that up yesterday. It's like you take the steak's pan juices and you mix it with like mustard, Worcestershire, and a cream sauce. And
I want you the next time you're at Laurelhurst Market or one of the other steakhouses, I want you to ask the server, could I get mine Diane, please?
But I just want to have
Steak Diane.
I just want a clip of that on my phone, and they'll be like, and what will you have, sir? And I'm just gonna hit that, and he's gonna look at me, and I'm just gonna keep hitting play.
Beef bourguignon.
And stare at him until he brings me my steak Diane.
All right. Coming up next, we have in the news, I think, Oregon and Washington are among the states suing TikTok, and months after pausing the tent and tarp handouts, well, they may be coming back. That's next. Here's Buck.
Beef stroganoff.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan, a full slate of playoff baseball today. In the early game, the Tigers beat the Guardians 3-0 and take a 2-1 series lead. In the National League right now, the Mets and Phillies are due in battle. It's a close one. Philly has a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th. The Yankees and Royals just underway. They're scoreless in the bottom of the 2nd. And in the late game, the Padres will look to close out the Dodgers in Game 4 of the NLDS. In the NFL, Gardner Minshew is out as the starting quarterback in Las Vegas. Aiden O'Connell will take over as the Raiders signal caller. The Texans send the NFL's leading receiver to the IR as Nico Collins will miss at least 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. And Saints head coach Dennis Allen announced today it will not be Jake Haener replacing the injured Derek Carr in New Orleans. It'll be Spencer Rattler getting his first NFL start against the Bucs this weekend. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Beef Wellington.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now,
All right. All right.
Boutros Ghali.
Frankie Lindor just hit a granny for the Mets.
You called it. You just were off by 2 innings.
Well, I said a couple of innings ago off the air to you, I said, your game, it was 1-0. And I said, your game is teed up for a late inning home run heroic.
Yes.
And I said, and I sat there and I was like, I wonder who it's going to be tonight. And I was going through their lineup and going, you know what? I bet it's Frankie Lindor.
This
tonight.
is your go-to call. You said it was going to be him in the game against the Brewers that ended up being Alonso.
Dude, grand salami. And
4-1 Mets.
Someone is right, and that the Catalonian beef ragu would be a great home run call. Can you fire that up? Like, imagine just like the call of Lindor with a deep drive. It's gone, and then we fire off a Catalonian beef ragu.
Catalonian beef ragu.
The pitch to Sakanic. It's Catalonian beef ragu. It's a round tripper.
Love it. Frankie Lindor did just order some Catalonian beef ragu. Boom!
Grilled steaks balsamico.
Suck it, you douchey Phillies.
I think that's it for the Phillies, dude.
That may break their back.
Yeah, they're done. How about that?
Yes.
Your Mets, God, they got magic, man.
They got a little something.
So
they got
good.
a little something.
All right. It is October 9th, 2024. It's time for In the News. I'm your noted newsman. Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is brought to you by the Advocates Injury Attorneys at advocateslaw.com. Today is National Moldy Cheese Day.
The old stinky cheese.
Yeah.
Big fan of the stinky cheese.
Me too. I don't know why we like it, but it's delicious.
Yeah, it does seem weird. It seems counterproductive. Like, here's some moldy cheese that reeks, but
it's really good.
It is really good. Favorite stinky cheese?
Well, I mean, I don't know all the names of them, because if it's on the plate, I'm eating it.
Yeah.
But, I'm a huge blue cheese guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the best stinky cheese?
There are so many. You're right. There's just so many different ones.
I don't know.
There.
There's so many cheeses. Oh.
I'm looking at a list. Camembert seems to be a favorite.
That's close. Yeah, I don't know where to start on that. It is also International Beer and Pizza Day.
Oh, well, who doesn't like that?
How about that?
A little beer and pizza, huh?
Yeah, I prefer red wine and pizza, but
hell yeah, that's good pizza.
Yeah, I can see the red wine and pizza. I always find though, like with wine, it depends on what kind of pizza. Like I'm having a nice high-end pizza, but like if I'm eating, if I'm eating like some sizzle pie or something, that's more of a pub beer sort of thing. But if you're having like a nice, I don't know, like trying to think of like what's like a higher end pizza. If you're having like a shaker pizza, then
Pizza Diane.
Pizza Diane. And that gets a little more. A Pizza Shoals would be more of a red wine pizza.
Both Oregon and Washington are taking legal action against TikTok.
You sons of bitches.
The popular social media app accused of exploiting its younger audience. Oregon Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum announced the lawsuit will be filed in Multnomah County Circuit Court today.
What exactly, I know everyone hates TikTok and we're trying to ban it, and I remember just seeing one of those Waxman sort of Congress things where they were yelling at the guy from TikTok, and he's like, "You're stealing everyone's information," and the guy from TikTok goes, "No, they just give it to us. Like it's right there in front. We asked for it, and they give it to us." I don't know. Does TikTok want? If TikTok, I'm not on there, but if they want anything that I provide them, I have at it. I don't know. What does TikTok do?
Well, this is about the kids.
What is it about the kids?
Her office alleges that TikTok has violated the state's consumer protection laws, namely those against unlawful trade practices. They say out of basic greed, intentionally designing their platforms to addict users and keep them scrolling. The more time users spend on the platform, the more money in TikTok's pockets. Tragically, it is our youth who are most harmed by these predatory practices.
Can I ask?
Shove that straight up your little kid ass.
Is it literally every social media thing designed to keep you scrolling?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so.
I don't know.
But TikTok's for the kids.
Okay.
More kids on TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not on TikTok. I don't have any expert opinion on this.
Nor do I. I'm not.
I saw a video the other day of Lane Kiffin getting ready for this game with his daughter, who is big on TikTok, and he was asking her what she did that morning, and she's like, well, I stayed in bed and watched an hour of TikTok. He's like, an hour of TikTok? She's like, oh, yeah, that's totally normal. He's like, no, it's not.
I think it is for the kids.
Yeah.
And isn't it that it's a Chinese company, and there's a different algorithm for the U.S. users? And it's way worse. Like in China, it's all educational and like really good, and then over here, it's like
the dumbest of the dumb.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But does it say something that the Chinese, like the smart kids, they get educational stuff, and the dumb dumbs like us want just?
Well, it's not that we want it; it's that we're being fed it, and we know no better.
And we just keep.
And I think
it
that's
up.
why these lawsuits are occurring. Is like you got to protect the kids; they don't know.
Won't someone please think of the children?
Last year, Pew Research Center found that 63% of teenagers between the ages of 13 and 17 have used the app. That number grew to approximately 70%. If you go between the ages of 15 and 17, 70% are on TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Oh yeah, dude. My daughters will sit there in the same room, and they love the TikToks. I got a buddy of mine that sends me TikTok stuff all the time, but you can open it without being on there. But like I can't scroll, but I can see the videos he sends that are just on,
Yeah, Instagram doesn't have that. You have to be on Instagram.
You have to be on there
in order to. If somebody like sends you an Instagram video and you're not on Instagram, you can't watch it.
I was hacked like a month ago, and so my Instagram account is gone. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't care. It's like, you don't miss it when it's gone.
No, you don't.
No, at the time, you're like, oh, yeah, Instagram's great. And then when it goes away, you're like, oh, yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, whatever.
That's the thing is you don't miss it.
No, not at all.
They want you to miss it.
Yeah, but you don't. Yeah, anyway, I don't have anything more than that. Washington is also... So there's 14 states suing TikTok.
Sure.
Oregon and Washington are two of them.
Yeah, I thought that we were banning them anyways. I thought they were forcing TikTok to sell, or I don't know. Deplatforming them.
Well, Congress is they've got TikTok in its crosshairs there.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with that, but apparently now there's some lawsuits. Multnomah County is proposing a new policy to resume tent and tarp handouts to homeless people.
Cool.
This just months after they paused the program following sharp criticism and a lawsuit against the city of Portland.
So wait, so we stopped and then we sued because we stopped handing out tents and tarps?
No, I think they were sued and they stopped. And now they're like, F you.
Oh.
How about that?
I was not aware of that.
The new proposal is set to resume the handouts with tighter controls in place during cold and severe weather. The tighter controls include 1 tent per person for sleeping, discouraging use on sidewalks and other public lands, because that works. Discouraging.
Yes.
Just say, hey, please don't put this on a sidewalk.
As we hand them the tent, we're like, hey, and this time, don't put it in the park.
And giving them tents that are more durable, waterproof, and fire resistant.
Yeah, they do catch on fire quite a bit. I thought we banned, what happened to the camping ban? Is that no?
Well, we do have a new camping ban, and they're working on it, okay?
Okay.
Look, it's complicated. Hey, shut up. Sorry. Snowflake. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it's going out there. It's really, that's a hard one to, like, you only know what you read, and you can't believe half of what you read. And
yeah, just try to look around and see it,
Is it getting better?
I think it is.
I don't know.
It's not as bad as it was. But again, then it's like, did they just move it? Is it like cleaning your room as a kid? You just move the mess from one side to like...
Well, I have a small anecdote that I live pretty close to the one that they put over at the old Army base over there off of Multnomah Boulevard. Mm-hmm. And it's those little tiny white houses, that they give them.
Yeah, a little temporary.
I have seen no problems over there whatsoever.
Yeah.
Not one.
I don't understand.
It's all fenced. You can't really see.
Yeah.
Nothing's really ever happening over there. But I guess it's, there's a bunch of people in there.
I think there's a lot of people that refuse to go into those because it's like, don't tell me what to do. But
yeah.
I'm also fascinated with the don't tell me what to do, but give me all of the stuff anyways. That's the part that rubs me the wrong way. You don't get to be like, I'm living outside of the bounds of society, but I'd also like all the stuff that you give me. Like, There's usually some conditions that comes with getting stuff.
Maybe you go rough them up.
Balls, yeah!
Send you out there to rough them up, rough talk them.
What do they get, a brute squad out there? Get out there, give me a rough talking stick, do some poking.
Ooh, that was fair. That was not fair.
I don't know. I didn't see that. You got the
Foul.
Royals game on. We got cross
Foul.
games happening.
Foul ball. All right.
Yeah, I
All
was
right.
actually excited for this collision of
All right.
you guys overlapping games here. This is going to be fun.
I don't think it is going to be fun. Well, the Mets game's over. Phillies are cooked.
I'm not ready to say that.
I am. You heard it here first. Royals and Yankees scoreless in the third. It's a pretty good ball game so far.
Yeah.
Where were we?
I don't know.
Why not?
Yeah, we probably got a break.
Why?
Because there's only so much tent talk that we can have.
You want more hot tent talk next?
And then Buck. Didn't one guy have a plan to like put the county's name on the tents? It was going to be like Portland property.
What?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
I think it was Rene Gonzalez. He wanted to hand out tents and tarps, but still have it be the city's property so that it would be branded as the city's.
Dude, that hit chalk. That ball hit chalk.
It did?
Yes.
Damn it.
Look at you shrugging off hot tent talk.
Well,
Back to
no,
the Royals.
my team is on. I don't know if you know that. But it's Multnomah County. It's not the city that's doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Because
but-
Multnomah County and the city hate each other,
Yeah.
from what I gather.
Yes.
And so I think they often do things to spite the other.
Which seems very productive. Good use of resources.
So maybe that's why Rene Gonzalez is saying, yeah, put Multnomah County right on the tent.
I just like the idea of handing out those tents and being like, hey, just so you know, came from us.
All right. Do locals feel safe on TriMet? That's next on The Fan.
This is the Fan's Window into Sports, a view into today's top stories. Brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
Yeah, they have good information.
All right, well, the Mets are systematically destroying the Phillies' souls, and the Royals just got a pretty good break from the replay officials, so we're now even with the Yankees since they hosed us in the first game.
On the Jazz slide, if you will. I can't say what you called him, but
I call him Chaz Jism.
I really don't think we should be playing that drop.
Who cares what
Just
you
a little
think?
name mix-up.
Yeah, that's something else.
Royals, Yankees, Game 3, scoreless, bottom of 3. This is in the news, October 9, 2024. I teased, do people feel safe on TriMet? The answer is no.
Yeah.
You need no more context than that.
That's a big no.
New study, Oregonians have to spend $10,000 more a year to maintain living standards from 2019.
That's a good chunk of change.
The new report assesses inflation misery, and it reveals that Oregonians need to spend 13% more of their income a year, or almost $10,000, just to maintain the same standard of living they had 5 years ago. This from the Common Sense Institute, Oregon.
Thanks a lot, Obama.
Inflation Misery Index.
Bunch of liberal BS.
Highlights the increased costs Oregonians face to maintain their standard of living.
Some of this is just like, right, just goods, food, gas, all that fun stuff.
The analysis indicates that Oregon households have effectively lost 23.7% of their purchasing power due to inflation.
Boy, that's a good hunk. That's not 10%. 23% of
Yeah.
your buying power?
With the average household needing to spend an extra $22,000 each year to sustain the same level of consumption.
Ouch. I will say that, like, I notice it a lot when just with, like, food costs. Like, when you go out to, and we talked about this, but just going out to eat anywhere, it is, boy, it is brutal. Like, I don't know how the restaurant industry is doing. I don't know if it's bounced back, but...
Well, I just think leisure activities in general.
They're expensive.
Anything, yeah, it's all just, it's like, wow, that's what that costs?
Yeah, it's spendy. I often get the sticker shock. You order like an appetizer and like an entree or two and like a couple drinks, and then it shows up and it's like $82. You're like, excuse me? Like, wow. Makes you think twice about doing stuff. All of a sudden, staying in, and you're like, it's not so bad. Kicking back on the couch.
All right, well, that's a good place to end it. Uplifting note like that.
There you go. There's nothing like a water skiing squirrel or like a fun raccoon story that you can give me. Nothing like Oregon top 3, like, I don't know, cool places to wakeboard. Nothing.
No.
The headline on Oregon Live when I looked earlier was like, bad for women workers in forestry department.
That's right. It's rough in there.
That was one of the top stories I saw today.
Those forestry bros.
Yeah.
It's a clique.
It's not good.
A lot of sexism.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't read the story. That's not fair. But I did see the headline.
Yeah. E-bike involved in crash that killed teen could travel faster than legal limits. That's not good.
Yeah, I saw that.
New wildlife safaris benefit dinner raises $200,000 for new exhibit.
Hey, that's
Hey,
great.
I like that.
A new exhibit?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the headline. Brand new headline.
Do we need a new exhibit?
No. Maybe.
Or does the head of the wildlife safari need a new
It will be instrumental in bringing their vision for a new African painted dog exhibit to life.
Yes!
Also known as African wild dogs, they're among the most endangered carnivores in all of Africa.
Whatever. That's in the news, October 9,
They're eating the dogs.
2024. The Hot 5 at 5 is coming up next. Very big sports news. Dave Bartu of The Matrix. After that, at 5:15 on The Fan.
Save thousands. Be advised, this is a great opportunity to save thousands on a hot tub or swim spa. Friday through Sunday, Clark County Event Center at the fairgrounds. Save thousands. Be advised, this is a great opportunity to save thousands on a hot
The Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on The Fan, a full slate of playoff baseball games today. In the early game, it was the Tigers beating the Guardians 3-0 and taking a 2-1 series lead. In the National League, Game 4 between the Mets and Phillies going on right now, and the Mets just 2 innings away from closing out the series. They're up 4-1 in the top of the 8th. Meanwhile, the Yankees and Royals are underway. They're in the top of the 4th in Kansas City, still scoreless. And coming up in the late game, it'll be the Padres trying to close out the Dodgers in Game 4 of the NLDS. Dave Roberts announcing it's going to be a bullpen game for L.A. The Padres will send Dylan Cease to the hill, first pitch just after 6 o'clock. In the NFL, Gardner Minshew is out as the starting quarterback in Las Vegas. Aiden O'Connell will take over as the Raider signal caller. The Texans send Nico Collins to the IR with a hamstring injury. He'll be out for at least 4 weeks. And Saints head coach Dennis Allen announced today it will not be Jake Haener replacing the injured Derek Carr in New Orleans. It'll be Spencer Rattler getting his first NFL start. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Tired of getting dinged by subscriptions? We won't send you a bill. Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Good afternoon. At the tone, Pacific Daylight Time will be...
It's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
One step closer to my own personal hell.
This is Primetime on Sports Radio 1080 The Fan.
We expect the best. We're not afraid to break someone. Do you hear me?
Primetime is your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports.
Go ahead and clap. Mediocrity deserves applause.
Isaac Robb.
I'm miserable. I had to get up at 10 o'clock this morning.
Jason Sakanet.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back. Hope you're having a nice little Wednesday at your Sports Bros, Romp and Souk. I'm Romp. That's Big Souk right over there.
Right here.
He is watching his Mets leading 4-1 over the Phillies.
I just got done in the break watching the entire 1986 classic music video, Let's Go, Mets Go, and now I feel invigorated.
You should. I'm watching the Royals taking on the Yankees.
You don't have a music video.
Aaron Judge just flew out again. It is 0-0 in the 4th. We have Dave Bartu coming on in our next seggy, 5:15, College Football Matrix. I don't know what to think of Ohio State, Oregon. I have no idea. But he does.
Yeah. Well,
he's going to tell you what he thinks.
Dave's got the numbers. I've told you what I think. I've made my hot opinions known. Scorching hot takes.
Yeah, but all you pundits, you don't know anything.
Just a bunch of freaking morons.
Well, you know football and all that, but...
I do know that.
Doesn't mean you know what's going to happen in this game.
No one does. This is the definition of neither side's played anyone, so you're about to find out.
If I'm listening to anyone, it's Bartu. And I probably won't even listen to him.
No, I like it.
But we'll see what he says.
We'll bring him on, and then you'll make the decision from there. See if you like what he has to say. If not, Dave, go away.
I'll be the judge of whether your analysis is good.
That's right.
If your raw data numbers hold mustard.
Club 1080 tonight, we will play Lieutenant Dan audio. We'll see if he is still living. He may be dead. I don't know.
He's the star so far of the Florida hurricane, if you're not aware.
Mountain lion killed with a shovel.
Got
that story for you guys.
They're eating the cats.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. What just happened?
Oh, freaking Stanton.
Thought you weren't scared of him.
Yeah, I thought
I'm
in
not.
no way were you scared of him. We just drove
Good, let him hit.
Yeah. He burnt us there. I'm a little surprised by that. Of all the donkeys in the Yankees lineup.
Stan was the one that you did taunt earlier.
Yeah. He's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, he just put a run on the board with the double. Yeah. I don't love that. Love that at all.
You all right over there?
No, I'm not.
State of panic. The Mets got out of a jam. So, no offense, but I'm doing okay over here.
Also, a primetime follow-up. Justice is served.
I love when justice is served.
But right now, the hot 5 at 5.
Hot topics, hot opinions.
Oh, Charlie, I'm hot today.
And hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victor Rico's Mexican Food. Discover Victor Rico's new savory menu items. Order in-store, online, or get it delivered straight to your door at victorricos.com.
Anyone getting a sports Woody?
Number 5.
Implemented in 1964, the National Letter of Intent is going away.
Yeah.
The NCAA has voted to eliminate that program. So with the House versus NCAA settlement coming down, they will move to a system of financial aid and scholarship agreements, which is basically short for contracts.
Yeah. I mean,
or long for contracts.
The letter of intent was weird in that it bound the kid to the school, but it didn't bind the school to the kid. So, look, just the days of the kids and the athletes having no say and just being bowled over, those days are done. Hopefully we find a way to strike a balance, but yes, the old school ways are dying, and not dying slowly. They're dying very, very quickly.
Yeah. So no more, and this does not mean name, image, likeness, NIL.
Yeah.
National Letter of Intent.
Yes.
That's not NIL.
No,
it
is not.
So they're
That's
no
what
longer,
you used to sign on, on signing day. You would sign your letter of intent, and now we're moving more to.
And you would fax it.
Yes.
Remember that? You
I
would
faxed
fax
mine.
it over there.
I faxed mine in.
They would sit by the fax machine.
Yeah, I remember the year Alabama set up a fax cam, and they just had these intern
Number
hots
4.
going over there picking up faxes.
All naked.
We had a fan fax line once. Was it the Office Automation, right?
Pacific Office.
Pacific Office Automation fax line.
Hey, they still sponsor the post-game scoreboard show for the Ducks.
George Kittle listed questionable for the Niners tomorrow against our Seahawks here on the Fan.
Dude, all of a sudden, that is a really, really big game. And at Seattle, the last 2 games, not looking so good. The Niners 2-3, and they've gacked away too. Now, the Niners over the last handful of years, they've been the Seahawks' daddies. This is all of a sudden a sneaky big game.
Well, Seahawks are
in the division.
They're pretty banged up.
Yes, they are.
Nwosu going on the IR, I guess.
Yep.
Is that what they said?
Yep. I mean, their defense, I mean, they've been down 7 and 8 players at times this year.
Well, when
on
the
defensive
Giants
side of the
beat
ball.
you, it's like,
well, they didn't just beat them, dude. They beat them up. That's not good.
obviously something's up.
Yeah.
Anyway, that game on the Fan tomorrow. No primetime show.
No.
Can you guys believe that? We're preempted by the Seahawks.
We were preempted on Monday, too.
Unbelievable.
What the hell's going on?
Well, not this Monday, but last Monday.
Last Monday. Yeah, it'd be weird if you played Monday night and Thursday night. It'd be a bit of a problem there.
What else do I have for you here, JC Babes? What else do you ask? Aaron Rodgers says he resents accusations that he played a role in the firing of Jets coach Robert Saleh.
Of course he does.
Of course he does.
Aaron Rodgers resents everything. If I'm a Jets fan, dude, just go away at this point. You're not leading anyone to the promised line. You're nowhere near the quarterback you were a couple years ago. If you're the Jets, just move on. Fire the GM, get rid of Rodgers, and just hit a hard reset.
He told the Pat McAfee show, it's interesting the amount of power people think he has, but he doesn't. He loves Robert Saleh. He also said that changes need to be made to the offense regardless of who is head coach, and he supports anything that interim coach Jeff Ulbrich wants to do.
Except Ulbrich's a defensive guy. The offensive guy who runs the stalest, boring offense this side of, I don't know, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nothing of that's changing.
Well, I've heard that, I heard on my favorite midday show, Danny and Dusty, that Ulbrich may call plays.
Offensive plays?
That's what he said.
He's a defensive boy. Wouldn't that be something?
What he said.
Yeah. They need something because their offense is
could be fake news.
Didn't
though.
Matt Patricia do something like that at some point?
Well, the Seahawks the Patriots brought in 2 defensive coordinators, and they had them
run the offense, right?
Defensive coordinators. By the way, that didn't go very well.
No.
Just saying.
The NFL's leading receiver, Nico Collins, has been placed on IR by the Texans.
This is a big deal because when he went out last game, their offense completely changed. Nico Collins is the real deal. And the Texans offense this year, the run game's been dreadful, and it's been a up and down. This is a big blow for them.
Yeah, he will miss at least the next 4 games. Hamstring strain. The Giants lose Kayvon Thibodeau to wrist surgery. He is week to week. Yeah. The Raiders will be without wide receiver Devontae Adams against the Steelers. He has a bum hammy. Las Vegas coach Antonio Pierce announcing today that Aiden O'Connell will be their new QB1. And Spencer Rattler will be QB1 for the Saints.
Yeah, a little surprised there because they brought in Hayner when Carr got hurt, but they're going with Rattler, which means if you're a bet man, you can parlay and bet against Spencer Rattler and Drake May the same week.
How could you lose?
That's a tasty little bit right there.
How could you lose?
Exactly.
I can think of a few ways you could lose.
Drake May ain't beating anybody.
Rattler, All four division series are in action today. You have already missed in the American League the fact that the Tigers beat the Guardians.
3-0.
6 pitchers combined on a shutout, 6-hit shutout. How about that?
Yeah.
Tigers now up 2-1 on
Talk about
Cleveland.
a team that's got a look about it. I might give you the Detroit Tigers.
Right now in the other AL series, the Yankees and Royals, it is 1-0 Yankees. They are in the bottom of the fourth in Kansas City. That series tied 1-1. In the National League, you've got the Mets leading the Phillies 4-1 in the bottom of the eighth. That thanks to a Frankie Lindor grand slam.
Yes, sir.
In the sixth inning. So, of course, if the Mets win that, they win the series. And then we've got Dodgers, Padres later. Pods up 2-1, and Freddie Freeman scratched because he's hurt.
That is not good. The Dodgers feel like they're in some serious trouble.
Well, they're starting some guy named Brazier.
Well, they're doing it's a bullpen game, right?
Well, they have no pitchers.
No, they're just dumb. They don't have any arms left. So, although the Tigers
seems problematic in an elimination game.
I don't know. The Tigers ran a bullpen game and worked out pretty damn good for them.
That's true.
Victor Rico's Mexican food. Discover Victor Rico's new savory menu items. Order in store, online, or delivered straight to your door at victorricos.com. Let's get Dave Bartu in here of the Matrix, College Football Matrix. He will tell us how to view the Ohio State-Oregon game. Or maybe he won't. Maybe he'll say, I have no idea.
Dave's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
That'd be the greatest Dave segment ever. He's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Something tells me Dave will have a hot opinion.
Yeah, we'll see. Bartu of the Matrix, next on The Fan. Yeah, well, no, I don't know.
Seahawks football.
his voice, and I'm like, okay. In his position, usually guys, when they disagree with you at that level, they just walk away. They're like, I don't have time for this, and they go, right? So the fact that he stuck around and was arguing is like, okay, you're interested in this. You're trying to prove a point in front of your whole staff and athletic director. And, we started talking about stats and numbers, and I'm like, stats aren't analytics. Stats don't give you anything. And he points at these three rings. It really got heated when he pointed at this whole row of three-ring binders in the office, saying, we have got plenty of stats right here. And I'm like, I could drive down to the nearest cigarette shop, pick up a 25-cent lighter, and it's worth more than these things I could set on fire with it. Then he got really pissed.
Maybe that's why he got
Yeah, I was going to say, that's way to play it cool, Dave.
I figured, I travel all the way to Starkville, Mississippi. You step out of the plane, the whole place smells like alligator armpit. And I was like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, well, apparently you were there to get yelled at by Dan
Dave with a
Mullen.
little bit of the old sweet talk there. Light these on fire.
I got their data, though. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Sometimes you got to talk to these guys the way they talk, right? And when you understand that, some of these head coaches are just perpetual. You've been around them, Jason. Perpetually angry, just a red ass 100%. All the time. And F-bombs are verbs and nouns and everything. And then once you start speaking to them the way they speak, it's almost more relatable, even though it feels really weird.
I used to have that at times where, I'd be getting yelled at by my offensive line coach for missing a call or, or a blocking assignment, like I slid the line the wrong way. And the best part was you could be agreeing with him, be like, yeah, I did that. That was my bad. And then they would keep yelling about it. And you're like, I get it. I shouldn't have done that. And then they would just keep yelling and you'd be like, what do you want me to say here for you to calm down and stop yelling? We're both agreeing on the point, and yet you just want to yell. That's welcome to the world of coaching. Coaches are just inherently angry creatures.
Well, they're paranoid too.
Yeah.
They're largely introverts. They hide in their athletic buildings, and they don't really have to answer to anybody, but they're always looking over their shoulder at some guy trying to steal their job. Yeah. And so it's an interesting world. Coaches both in college and in the NFL. It surprises me every single day when I get further behind the curtain.
Well, at this point, nothing should surprise you, Dave.
No, it just makes for really good stories, though. Right? I mean, it's not every day a GM loses his ass over you.
Now, this was a college GM, you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, and the thing what's interesting is it's not your opinion, Dave. You're just bringing raw numbers. So they're not mad at you. They're just mad at the numbers are telling them something that they don't want to hear or that they don't want to believe.
Right. Well, actually, it was what it was is I'm trying to explain a new concept in terms of profiling athletes. And not watching as much film and having the kids do their athleticism testing so you don't have to watch the film. And it's cutting out work for them. But when it comes down to something new, and you're talking to a head coach that did it his way, and he's making $500,000 a month or $1 million a month. And you're trying to tell him, here's a new way to become more efficient and reduce your risk, but you have to change what you do to do that. And they look at you like there's worms coming out of your eyes because, here's a guy that, is literally making generational wealth, and you're telling him to make a small change.
Yeah,
it doesn't work very well.
I heard you talking about this. You basically are looking at these athletic scores that they do at the combine. And putting that in college, that you can have a giant success rate no matter what the star ranking, simply based on someone's athletic score, right?
Exactly. We started this in the NFL. I was working with an NFL club last year, and we were working on staffing, and that's all that we were supposed to be working on. But I have kind of this little pet project on the NFL draft I've been working on for over 15 years in tracking it, trying to crack the code. And I asked the assistant GM I was working with one day, I'm like, hey, you guys, your numbers are fantastic in starts per draft pick, rounds 1 through 5. In round 6 and 7, it falls apart. And in undrafted free agency, it's terrible. It's bottom 3. And his immediate response was, well, that's what I'm in charge of. And I think we do pretty good. And I said, oh, well, I think you don't. but here's the thing with the
That's
NFL.
Sweet talk again.
Oh, yeah. No, but see, with the NFL, I've learned, though, the NFL guys, you think college football guys have thick skins? You can tell any NFL guy he is wrong. He'll argue with you, but then a lot of them will turn around and go, show me why. See, now this guy took offense a little bit, but then his next question was, but why do you think that way? And I outlined it. And I said, what I would like to do is have access to your draft group, all your guys, to interview them to try to figure out the psychological problem. And I would like access to all of your player profiles of the last 20 years. So I get a spreadsheet of nearly 4,000 NFL draft profiles and all their private workout numbers. Right? I mean, it's like super nerdy, great stuff. And then I got to interview everybody in the draft process. And here's what we found out is they were so good in rounds 1 through 5, they psychologically started making picks in round 6 and 7, undrafted free agencies, with elite metrics. And so they would focus on something. Oh, this guy's super fast. This guy has really strong with a huge, it's an offensive lineman who's really strong, and he's got a huge wingspan, And so they were focusing on individual elite numbers, and that's where they were failing. So we went the other way. We started looking at full body athleticism, and we were able to work with a professor in kinesiology at MIT, and we actually came up with a mathematical formula for athleticism. And the higher you scored on it, the more starts you generated per player in your NFL career, period. It's almost linear. I mean, Suk, when you were at BYU, if I could have had you go through 12 drills, got your birth date, your height, your weight, I could literally put you in a little box and say, here's how many starts I expect out of this guy if he's healthy coming out of college. Right?
Yeah.
But then we were able to work with professors at Purdue and Michigan State that did over 20,000 tests over 10 years on kids aged 7 to 18. So now if there's an offensive lineman who's a freshman at Lake Oswego High School, if I have his test numbers, I can project what division he's going to be in if he has the size and frame to make it.
See, I'm fascinated by this stuff because it's just football is so much about athleticism. I'm guessing where the pushback is everyone is always worried about, missing out on the Mike Hass, right? They want the 1 in a million. And I think to your point, you're saying, why wouldn't you rather be right 95% of the time and miss on 5 as opposed to what you're doing now where you're missing 50% of the time?
Exactly. Use it as a filter. So if you're Oregon or Oregon State, you use athleticism testing. Now I know the baseline of athleticism by unit at your school. Yeah. I know where you're strong. I know where you're weak. I know who your NFL prospects are. Now you can start getting guys earlier to the NFL. Your NFL liaison at Oregon and Oregon State starts getting it to the 32 GMs I know all of these guys. And I can feed this stuff early to them. Right? So it helps your program. It helps your players. And then when you go recruit, let's say your average athleticism score at linebacker is a 68. Well, every kid in the state of Oregon across the country, if he's under a 68, you're not going to waste your time. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so especially a developmental program, let's say like an Oregon State, you want to be pushing the athleticism up and up and up. So here's one you'll like, Sue, because you've played at the highest level here. The most athletic position in the NFL is what? The position that demands the greatest athleticism is which position?
That's interesting. I might lean towards corner.
Defensive end.
Linebacker.
I can see that because it's a little bit of secondary and a little bit of lineman mushed into one.
Right. It's you got to be a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit of everything. But if you score above, so our scoring system is 0 to 100. Actually, it's basically 0 to Vernon Davis is what it is. And because Vernon Davis has the highest athleticism number. But in the top 10, Suk, you'll love this. In the top 10, 6 of them are offensive and defensive linemen.
Interesting.
So Aaron Donald being one of them. No shock. No. Right? But his athleticism score, even though his height and all of his numbers, people looked at him and he dropped to 13th in the draft. Yeah. This is still the 9th highest athleticism score out of 4,000 guys over 20 years.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Linebacker is really, really important. The one that's least important is wide receiver.
Yeah, I could, because so much of that is route and being a kind of a cerebral player and understanding where to go and sit down in soft spots. That all that makes sense.
Right. Can you catch the ball?
Yeah.
Wide receiver and tight end. Yes, it's great to have great athletes there, but you can see it in the numbers. There's a ton of great athletes that actually can't catch the ball, cannot high point it, cannot make the catch in traffic, alligator arms, you name it. They have the look, but they can't catch. So, but in every other position outside of that, linemen on both sides, linebackers, it is linear. The more athletic you are, the longer you're going to.
So what is this called? This is the new age of the Matrix. What is this called?
Yeah, it is. We did the NFL stuff last year. We adopted it to college this year. And last month we signed our first program to do it statewide. So we're going to be working. So the first adopter is South Carolina. And so we are going to be working in the entire state of South Carolina, providing this free to every high school coach, every middle school coach, every player out there, every kid. Doesn't matter, rich, poor, none of this. You have to go to camp to get noticed. We will find you. Do the 12 drills, get it to us. And if anybody scores above 75, we feed that to the recruiting guys at South Carolina.
Huh.
Well, that's cool.
I love this, Dave.
Interesting. Yeah. Now, you're trying very hard to not talk about Ohio State and Oregon, it seems.
I want bold predictions, Dave.
But
Dude,
luckily,
I blocked off 45 minutes. I mean, we can talk about this for 15.
Good.
We can go to break, and we can talk betting for the next half an hour at A&A.
All right, let's do it. Ohio State, Oregon talk is next with Dave Bartu of The Matrix. Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update first on the Fan. A full slate of playoff baseball today, just going final in the Big Apple. The New York Mets take out the Phillies 4-1 the final, and they advance to the League Championship Series. In the early game today, the Tigers beat the Guardians 3-0. They take a 2-1 series lead in that divisional series. Right now, the Yankees have a 2-0 lead on the Royals there in the fifth inning of that one. And coming up in the late game, the Padres will look to close out the Dodgers in Game 4 of the NLDS. In the NFL, Gardner Minshew is out as the starting quarterback in Las Vegas. Aiden O'Connell named the starter for the Raiders. Saints head coach Dennis Allen announced it will not be Jake Hayner replacing Derek Carr in New Orleans. It'll be Spencer Rattler getting his first career start. And the Texans send the NFL's leading receiver to the IR as Nico Collins will miss at least 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan Merch Locker has new shirts from the fan shows and hosts you love. Get yours now at 1080 The Fan.
No, I don't want this to go to your head, okay? Is Dave with us?
Yep, I'm here. Nothing's
Okay.
going to my head, dude. It's all good.
We'll just wait.
Give it time.
I've got a text I want to read you, okay?
Is it as good as Buck's letters?
This is from one of our listeners. No, this is better. This is better than Buck's letter that he got the other day from the guy who doesn't understand our drops, and he also doesn't understand that Caitlin Clark is white. It reads, Dave is brilliant. I am humbled every time he explains how he arrives at a criterion that no one has ever pondered. If his passions weren't football, barbecue, and hunting, he'd easily be a billionaire ruling from a roost of power. Dave has what Elon doesn't, the brain and ingenuity to achieve globally manipulated dominance. Now, if that's not flattering, I don't know what is.
That's a great compliment.
Who says I'm not a billionaire already? I do this show for free, man.
You know what's funny about Dave is Dave really is brilliant. I've always thought that about you. The thing that I've always asked Dave, I'm like, Dave, can you not focus on just one? Stop.
There's
Focus
too
on
much.
one idea.
One
but
thing.
he can't. He's like, that's the whole thing.
He also makes a dynamite barbecue rub. I'm just saying.
He can't focus.
Incredible.
He's got to go shoot an elk.
Yeah.
He doesn't have time for world domination.
No, I am trying to focus on the core football stuff because that's where the money's been at, and trying to cut out a lot of other things. But it's, jack of all trades, master of none. I like being me. It's cool.
So I am not one to believe that Oregon is as talented as Ohio State, even though we keep hearing about how great Oregon's players are and how well Dan Lanning and his staff have been recruiting. Can you outline for this game, Ohio State, Oregon, can you outline the talent gap? How wide is it?
I don't think it's that wide. I really don't. You look at I don't get too much into the transfer portal because those guys are still more missed than hit. Everybody seems to focus on teams that are successful with it and overlook the 2 out of 3 that aren't successful with transfer guys. So, Oregon gets their share. Ohio State gets their share. We're talking about the number 3 high school recruiter against the number 5 high school recruiter. Yeah. So from a talent perspective, I don't think there's much difference there. From a coaching standpoint, I would give a slight edge to Ohio State, but neither head coach has really accomplished that much so far with the talent they've had. Offensive coordinator, Will Stein, 4-star plus, rising star, excellent offensive coordinator. Chip Kelly, top 15 in the country as well. So you got 2 great offensive coordinators. LaPoy, he's been moving up our rankings. Knowles at Ohio State, he had the number 1 scoring efficiency defense last year. He's got the number 2 scoring efficiency defense right now. So, it is, I think really what this comes down to is probably just how teams have executed so far and home field advantage. I think Oregon, having this game at home, I think all the pressure's on Oregon in this one because you look at the schedule, they don't have a lot of top 25 teams on the schedule. This is one of 2 on their schedule. They beat Boise. They need this win more than Ohio State, in my opinion, and they're at home. So they're not going to get a better shot at Ohio State this year than right now, even though they're 3-point dogs. So, and even with Ohio State, I'd mentioned, they're second in defensive scoring efficiency. Oregon's 18th. Offensive, Ohio State's 4. Oregon's 18. But keep in mind, Ohio State has played Akron and Western Michigan to start the season, 2 of the worst teams in all of college football, right? Oregon's played UCLA, who isn't top 100 in anything. They played Oregon State, who doesn't have a top 100 offense. Michigan State, who doesn't have a top 100 offense. I mean, we're in the middle of the season, and I honestly don't know which way this one is going to go because I just don't think we have the sample size to figure it out. To me, I lean the talent, which is Ohio State, and better performance, which is Ohio State. But, again, the schedules really haven't given us a whole lot. I think it's just going to be a fantastic matchup.
We say that the 2 best would be, they have the one common opponent, Michigan State, and the results were about the same. So maybe we look at Iowa and Boise State as the 2 best teams that they've played.
Right, and Iowa doesn't have the offense. Boise State has a top 10 offense right now, but Boise State has it doesn't even have a top 90 defense.
Yeah.
So, you play it is, and yeah, like you said, common opponent Michigan State, but Michigan State's offensive scoring efficiency is at 118.
Yeah.
They can't score, man. I mean, the game's over at 7-0. I look at this from the standpoint of I feel that the hungrier team needs to be Oregon here. I really do, because you look at the schedule going forward, Oregon doesn't have anything left. And don't tell me, they play top 25 Michigan. Michigan doesn't even have a top 70 offense. They don't even have a top 40 defense. Michigan is not going to be top 25 when it counts at the end of the year. Okay, so to me, the hungry team has to be Oregon here simply because the opportunity to build the resume the rest of the season is more in favor of Ohio State. Oregon has to be the more desperate team on Saturday.
But it's essentially a coin flip game.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I wouldn't bet on any of this. I was waiting to come on, and Buckley was telling me, 53.5 was the total. He was talking about leaning under. And I'm like, you're so balanced on offense and defense. I don't know which way this one's going to go. Do the defenses show up? You and I can argue they are. Are the offenses going to show up? Will Stein and Chip Kelly, who's betting against that? Yeah. Right? It is. I don't think there's a single outcome other than a blowout. Right? I mean, I think we would agree this should be a one-possession, one-score game. How it gets there, is it 63-60? Is it 2017? I don't know, but I just don't see this being more than a one-possession game unless something wackadoodle happens.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this game, right? That's why this is amazing.
Yeah.
Right there is that it's going to come down to things that we can't predict. So let's just sit back and have a beverage and enjoy it. Do you want to talk?
And it still means something.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
This is playoff seeding. This is a sub-playoff game. When you look at the whole schedule, like I said, for playoff seeding, this is absolute number one. This is so important for Oregon versus Ohio State. I can't understate how important it is for playoff seeding.
Do you want to talk some more? We got one more seggy. You want to talk some more gambling?
Oh, dude, I got
more
30
gambling.
Different bets sitting in front of me, including all the games you'd never watch unless you got a sawbuck on it.
Those are my favorites, Dave. Give me some Vandy picks. Let's
We're
go.
gonna get some hot New Mexico State football talk coming up next. Dave Bartu of the Matrix on the Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
Yeah, just being a lot smarter and smart aggressive when in the red area. I think I got away with one against UCLA. A very similar pass, and then I didn't get away with it against Michigan State on that first one, and the second one just forcing it when we could live to play another down or two, and I think that just keeps going back to being smart aggressive and finding the balance between that.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel, I don't care. Patrick Mahomes is talking crap to some Yankee fan up in the suite.
That's all.
This is getting so good.
That's all Rob cares about is Mahomes was chest to chest in a Royals jersey with a Yankee bro.
Who's the Yankee bro?
I don't know. I'm assuming someone from the Chiefs. I mean, obviously he knew him, but yeah, he was bellied up to him, giving him the business.
Yeah, 2-2 Yankees Royals.
Dylan Gabriel can't turn the ball over. How about that?
Yes, I think that's a great analysis.
There you go.
Mods PDX, the future of building is here.
If you're considering new construction and want it done right and fast by a team that's focused on innovation, collaboration, and creativity,
We've managed to spend an hour with Dave Bartu, and now he's got some hot picks for us. He said he's got you have hot college football picks. Is that what you want to disseminate here?
Yeah. Well, we can if people like betting college football, which I think they do, especially at the A&A, because you can go right across the bridge and bet all the college football you want up there, baby.
I love it. It's just like, and I think they do. Yeah.
I think they do.
I do think I do know that. I do.
Oh, and I know Suk loves the who. Who's playing what?
My favorite bet of the year so far is, Rob, you were gone, but Dave came on at the beginning of the year, and he told us, and I think me and Buck took this journey together. For me, it was a sizable bet at the start of the year. I usually just like kind of go tidbits, but every now and then Dave gets all hot and bothered. And he said Vanderbilt money line, and they were catching double digits against Virginia Tech. And I loaded up on the money line with Vanderbilt, and let's just say 34-27 later, a nice meal was had thanks to one Dave Bartu.
You're right. It still doesn't supersede the first time I was at the show saying Oregon State's going to beat Wisconsin 3 months before the game, and you looked at me like I was a freaking idiot. That
was where I learned. Don't doubt Dave. Dismiss him at your own peril.
Speaking of Vanderbilt, dude, I think we should ride the Lightning.
Let's do it.
Let's start right there. Vanderbilt at Kentucky. Now, a lot of people think that, Vanderbilt beating Alabama. I get it. It's a big deal. Okay. But this is not your grandpappy's Vanderbilt right now. They're recruiting. When Clark Lee got there, 4-year recruiting average in high school was 54. Now they're up to 37. They're still the worst recruiter in the SEC, but if Vanderbilt was in the former Pac-12, they'd be the fourth best recruiter.
Ooh.
They are the worst of 16 in the SEC. They are they would be fourth best in last year's Pac-12. And coming into that game against Alabama, they were 22nd in the country in offensive scoring efficiency. They were really good on offense. You know who's not really good on offense? Kentucky. 91st on the season. Okay, so they're at Kentucky. We got the number 22 scoring efficiency offense going up against Brad White and his number 13 defense. Okay, so we got strength versus strength. And then you have the Kentucky offense at 91, the Vanderbilt scoring efficiency defense at 108. We got suck versus suck, right? Lots of sucking going on here. But here's the line. You're catching 14. You get 14 points in a Vanderbilt offense against the 91st offense in college football. We are taking Vanderbilt to cover in Kentucky again this week.
I love it. Let's ride that Vandy train, baby.
All right. Let's see here. Where is my big Suk fugly game of the week?
Give me something. I need something to bet on that I have no reason to watch.
Oh, no reason to watch. Well, I got a lot of those. Let's start with Western Kentucky hosting UTEP.
What? Conference USA?
Yeah,
all right.
So Western Kentucky is 88 in offensive scoring efficiency, 108 in defense. All right? UTEP, not to be outdone, is 131st out of 134 in offense, but 97th in defense. These teams both suck equally. They are horrible, but UTEP is getting 19.5.
I like the
on
value.
top of their suckage.
I like the value.
So that one is that is definitely a game you're not watching. Now here's one that you're not watching that I really like. The 19.5, yeah, it's kind of for fun. South Florida's hosting Memphis. Look at these numbers though. Memphis is a better recruiter. They have the 59th best coaching staff versus 96 for South Florida. So we got better talent. We got better coaching. Memphis offense is 45th. South Florida's defense is 127th. Memphis's defense is 72nd. South Florida is at 92. So Memphis has these guys covered every way, shape, or form, and they're laying 7.5.
Okay.
I really like Memphis catching those points against South Florida. A little more locally, Boise State and Hawaii. Boise State, the number 2 scoring efficiency offense in all of college football. Hawaii, 116th on offense. How are they keeping that within 3 scores? How? Yeah. Genty's going to have 3 touchdowns in the first 3 minutes, and that spread's going to get covered in the first quarter. That would be one on these big spreads with really good teams, folks. Little nugget. If you can, bet first half spreads. When you get there in 24 and 28 and 34, teams are going to get blown out. Usually you're going to get half of that in the first half. The really good teams cover that quickly and then take their foot off the gas. If you can bet first half on your app or at A&A, do that as well.
What about Texas, Oklahoma, or maybe Penn State, USC?
Geez, Texas, Oklahoma. I'm that one. It's a big spread. The real disadvantage there is Oklahoma. Oklahoma's 52nd in offensive scoring efficiency so far. Both of them have top 10 defense. Texas has the number 1 scoring efficiency defense in college football. That's national championship level. That's Pete Kwiatkowski. But Oklahoma, Brent Venables, has the number 9 scoring efficiency defense in college football. So versus the spread, I don't like it so much. I'll take the under. This is, I believe, going to be a much more defensive game, which kind of leans you to take Oklahoma in the points. But I can still see Texas really whipping on these guys because of that 51st offense. I like under 49.5 in that specific football game.
By the way, I may be placing an offshore bet here during the break. I would just like to point out that Boise State and Hawaii, the first half spread is only 10.5.
Let's go ahead and lock that in.
Look at those numbers. The number 2 offense versus 117th offense.
I'm gonna go ahead and lay a C note right now on Boise State to cover 10.5.
Right. Now it's in Hawaii, late start, blah, 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 but Hawaii's just not very good. Oh, side note, speaking of not very good, the worst team in the top 25 is Missouri. 78th in offensive scoring efficiency, 79th in defense. They will not be there at the end. They are really not good at all.
Who do they they play UMass. Well, okay. UMass, who cares? What about
who cares?
Penn
right?
State is favored by 4.5 at USC. Do you think the Trojans get them?
No, I don't. Recruited talent, advantage Penn State. Coaching staff, pretty even. You look at the numbers on the year. USC is a defensive team, 33rd in deep scoring efficiency defense. Penn State is 7th. USC offense 13. USC 49. Penn State 13. So Penn State is at 13 on offense, 7 on defense, but they're on the road. And one of the things that we don't have a lot of data about that I'm tracking starting this year is 3 time zones. We've really never had conference games where it's Miami at Cal, Florida State at Stanford, Oregon at Penn State at USC. We haven't had this stuff, and I think physically and emotionally it's going to mess with guys because a lot of these starts are really late or they're really early. And so because of that, I don't trust it, but if I have to go with something, I'm going with the better talented team, the team that's performing better. I'd probably be a chicken and just go money line, just get rid of the 5.5 points and not worry about that risk because I can see this a tight game in LA, but I do think Penn State's the better team right now.
Yeah, Wilner had that. He was doing the time zone thing, and he had Big Ten teams that have traveled more than 2 time zones so far in league play are 1-8.
Yeah,
straight up.
And that's the same thing. The only one who really saw that with big distance is West Virginia. And West Virginia is a real pain in the ass for Big 12 teams to go to. Not because West Virginia is that good, but the time zones. I mean, you got to fly into probably Newark and then take a covered wagon 14 hours to Morgantown.
That's probably
it's just not an easy place to get to. And it's a hostile environment. So I think there's something to be said, something to be wary of these big time zone games like that.
All right, Dave, thank you so much. Always great talking to you. Love your insights, man. Appreciate you.
Love you guys. You know where I'm at anytime.
All right, Dave. That's Dave Bartu of College Football Matrix, and he's bringing it.
Yes.
Bringing it.
I'm not kidding. I'm locking in a nice little juicy bet on that Boise State first. 10.5? You kidding me? They're going to be up by 20.5. Hawaii. I love random bets. Then you can sit there and people be like, why the hell are you watching this game? You're like, shh, just talk to you in about 10 minutes when this half's
Did
over.
you hear Ortner's story about that game?
No.
So Ortner was at his brother's wedding last weekend, and as the wedding gift, he gave them money for their honeymoon fund. They're going to Hawaii, his brother and his new wife. And his brother's like, hey, guess what we're spending that money on? And he's like, I don't know, like beach massages or a dinner out or something. And they're like, no, we're going to go see Genty play in the Boise State Hawaii game this weekend. So they're on their honeymoon in Hawaii, and they're going to go to that football game.
Thanks to Will.
Thanks to
There
Will.
you go.
All right, the club is next on the Fan.
Warning: the following
He was filling in for me because I don't have my drop board today.
It's a very important job.
I'm not focused anyway.
Well, it was tough because we were in the middle of a hot Dave Bartu interview.
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, Rob's flipping off. We have dueling games because we
Yeah.
have 2 screens. So Rob's watching the Royals. I had the Mets game on. We got a great shot of Rob on YouTube flipping off the Yankee game. I don't know what happened.
That was, what's his name? Jazz Chisholm?
Jazz Chisholm.
That guy, I was flipping him off because he's the guy who said that the Royals got lucky.
Yeah.
And he grounded out. Or no, he struck out, and he was bitching about the call, so I was flipping him off.
So Rob's flipping the bird.
Because he's a little bitch.
The Mets are up by 3 into the bottom of the 9th. Edwin Diaz comes in and immediately walks the first 2 guys on 10 pitches. And my butthole at that point has a pucker factor of Jesse Winker. It's not good. And so I'm trying to contain it as Dave's talking to us about important stats things. And then Diaz ended up closing it out and I had to do a silent ring him up as he struck out. I think it was Schwarber to end the game and end the series and send those greasy bastard Phillies home. Suck it, Philadelphia. Now the Mets are in the DS. Or excuse me, not the DS. The CS Championship Series. If it's in San Diego or LA, I sense a road trip happening. You right over there?
He's dialed in.
Putting on my war paint.
By the way, the guy that Mahomes was talking S to, that would be Garrick Dieter.
Yeah, he's a former Chiefs receiver.
Chiefs receiver. And
he's a Yankee fan.
Apparently he's a Yankee bro.
That guy played receiver for the Chiefs?
Yeah, he went to SMU Bowling Green in Alabama. And then...
yeah, he's sitting up there with Mahomes in his skybox.
They have needed a receiver for so long, and I've never seen that guy.
Well, no, he hasn't played since 2021, and he didn't do a whole lot.
I got to tell you, I love the fact that Mahomes is all behind the Royals. I just think that's cool. I think it's cool when other athletes from other teams in the same city. He's from Texas. Like Mahomes, I don't think he has ties to the Royals other than just being on the Chiefs.
I wouldn't think so.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I just think it's cool when other star athletes from the city and play on other teams. Get behind and like genuinely get behind the other local teams.
I mean, he is in a Mahomes Kansas City jersey, and he is
Royals jersey.
Or excuse me, Royals jersey.
He's not wearing his football jersey.
No, that would be something.
That would be a little douchey.
He's in a Royals jersey with his name, number, and he was giving Dieter the business. Now, I will say that I looked up old Garrick Dieter, and he has 2 catches in his career. So. Probably, although he did win a Super Bowl with him.
Yeah, but, dude, what a piggyback. You get into Patrick Mahomes' skybox for the Royals Yankees?
Yeah. Well, obviously they had some sort of connection. He was there for like 3-4 years on the practice squad, and next thing you know, you're in there, except you got to deal with... Are you allowed to talk crap back to Mahomes, or is that one of those you just shut up and take it?
Well,
be
anyway,
happy to be there.
The Yankees and Royals are tied 2-2 in the bottom of the 6th, and I am viscerally nervous at this point. I feel it in my loins.
You feel it deep in your loins.
And I did not hear... I mean, I heard some of what Dave said, but not a lot.
Your focus was,
It was elsewhere.
Yes.
How far up your ass is your head?
Pretty far at this point.
Well, it's not up my ass. It's on this TV here.
That's kind of up your ass. Yeah. It's the same.
Well, when looking at...
What would you say you do here?
Well, I hosted the interview.
You did.
You guys didn't know.
I think we knew.
Well, maybe you knew.
I think we
knew. The Ducks report was very glaring.
Yeah, we knew.
That's Dylan Gabriel, whatever.
That is a direct quote from you at the Ducks report. Dylan Gabriel, whatever.
Any of these guys play for the Ducks?
I don't think so.
I don't think we have any Ducks.
Betcher might eventually,
13th round pick of the Astros?
Yeah.
David Peterson was a Duck. Your guy.
Yeah,
That's right.
He was a Duck. So it happens.
It does happen, yes.
From time to time. I don't think there's a lot of big ducks in the
Big what?
In the big ducks in the big leagues. More beeves. Some good beeves out there.
Go blow some ducks.
Not so much the duckies.
All right. Well, things have stabilized here.
You've ridden through the emotional curve here.
Well, it looks like we're gonna head to the final 3 innings tied. Yeah. And it's not my little feetsies are.
Yeah, you get the little
under the table here. I'm shaking my knee and.
Is it better to have it here or like if you
No,
go?
I want to be home.
If you're home, does your wife know?
Yes.
Does Nurse Nice know
Oh,
to
yeah,
leave you alone?
Yeah, she usually does.
Okay.
Yeah, she somehow has talked herself into the fact that she is some sort of jinx. For the Royals in the playoffs or for KU basketball, so she will leave me alone because she believes it's her fault if
That's
something
nice.
bad happens.
She's got a little of that.
I've never said that.
Secondary superstition.
Damn it! But that's what she thinks.
Well, that's because you at least at work, like it's. I know it shouldn't be this way, but at work it feels less important than when you're at home. Because when you're at home and if you're an ass to someone, then it just I don't know. Those are the people that love you, and like you're treating them like dirt simply because there's some random game on.
If it goes poorly at work, you like actually have something else to do and focus on, you know?
Well, I've said it. Ooh, what do we got? Oh no, sorry. Every now and then, like there's a ball hit, and you're like, and then you look, and it's a Dave Niehaus fly ball. You're like, yeah, whatever. The thing that honestly changed, I used to be way more of a involved fan as far as letting games like pull a ROP here. Although the Mets are desperately trying to suck me back in, and I'm fighting it. But mine was and it really was. I had to like take a look at myself and be like, what am I doing? It was a decade plus ago, and the Red Wings were playing the Penguins in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Red Wings are the team that I root for the most. Red Wings and then Mets. And it was Game 7, and the Red Wings lost. And I remember my kids when they were little, even now, we always like to watch hockey together. And I remember my wife having to come and take my kids out of the living room. I remember my wife being like, kids, let's leave dad alone. And I remember being so embarrassed at that. I didn't realize, but I was probably just being a nightmare to be around. And my poor little kids who were young at the time are just like, what is wrong with dad? And when your wife has to remove children from your general area because a bunch of Europeans who now live in Detroit are now taking on a bunch of Canadians that live in Pittsburgh, maybe it's time to reevaluate some things. And that game did change me for the better part of 15 plus years, where I have not gotten anywhere near as worked up since that day.
I had a similar experience. We were watching a Ducks game, and my stepdad takes it super serious. He was holding one of my kids. It was like a year or two old, and he's flipping out holding my kid. And my mom goes, "Do you think you can either tone it down or maybe pass off the kid?" And he's like, "I'm just gonna have to pass off the kid." And he walks away. We're like, wow, couldn't dial it back just a little bit.
Yeah, dude, it's embarrassing. It is. It's like you shouldn't ever let it get to that point. And yet, there we are. In my defense, it was Game 7 on home ice, and they lost 2-1. I mean, hello. Yeah, there's going to be some curse words. Maybe something was thrown. I think a TV tray might have been. A TV tray may have caught the worst of it, and I think that's when maybe there was threat of some shrapnel going on, and maybe there was a pillow thrown across the room, and I think maybe that's when it was probably best that everyone clear out. And then you're just sitting there alone, like with the TV like on mute, and you're just sitting there on the couch like in some sort of weird shame state, and you're like, it's not good. It's not good. It's all bad.
All right, so we're going to find out how Lieutenant Dan is doing.
Lieutenant Dan.
Coming up next, we're going to hear from him. He is riding out the big storm like an American hero.
He's doing
or
doing
an
something.
American dumbass.
I think that's probably the... Although, you know what? In today's day and age, that might be one and the same. You know.
Fair point.
Yeah.
We'll get to that next on The Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
This umpire, I got to tell you.
You've got some nice strike calls.
This umpire.
Yeah,
he's just really inconsistent.
Yeah, the strike zone's a little broad today.
Okay, now to Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
He is a mildly homeless man.
He has been homeless for 16 years, and he's missing a leg, hence Lieutenant Dan.
Yep. He looks like you'd think he'd look.
Yeah.
And he is riding out Hurricane Milton in the Tampa Harbor on his 20-foot boat.
Yeah.
Now, he's become somewhat of a viral sensation because he refuses to leave his boat. And this is, at last check, this is a once-in-a-lifetime storm, they're saying.
Yeah.
This is going to be here.
And here's the thing. The man is bowed up with confidence because I guess the way he came to national prominence was what was the other hurricane they just had a month ago? Was that
Helena?
You're doing great.
Helena.
It was Helene.
Helene.
Have we settled on Helene?
Helene. She was a violent bitch.
That bitch. So he's on his sailboat.
She is an aloof bitch.
And it broke free from the harbor and it was drifting out to sea, and he was panicked, and no one would help him. And I guess a University of Tampa guy, a senior, went by and was like, "Hey, dude, this guy's in serious trouble. He's getting drug out to sea." No one would help him. And I guess he got someone to help him, and they got a rope out to the boat, and they pulled him. He was being drug out to sea in the storm surge. They drug him back. We were able to tie the boat up to the dock, and then they made a TikTok about it. They're like, "Oh my God, we just saved this guy's life." Well, that's how people started. And of course, he's kind of a character. He's got no shirt on. He's got his tattoos. He's got one leg. So that's where people dubbed him Lieutenant Dan. And apparently that is now bowed up my man here to say, well, I rode out one hurricane in which I kind of almost died, and now he thinks this one that's going to be much worse, he's doing it again.
So here's what he sounds. Here's a little taste of Lieutenant Dan.
All right, Dan, for the people that are new, explain to them why you're deciding to stick out a Category 5, one of the worst hurricanes in Tampa history, out on a 20-foot sailboat in Tampa Harbor.
My faith in God, my faith in man. God told me to come out here and get a boat. I came out here and got a boat. And everything that he's been telling me over the last 2 days is I'm doing the right thing. He's got my back. I'm in good shape. I ain't sweating it. We're going to ride this one out. We got set up the way we know what we're doing. And as long as the water just keeps rising, we'll be fine.
Will you be wearing a life jacket?
Hell no.
Are you going to be able to swim if it need be?
In circles.
Can you swim with one leg or what?
Yeah, I can float like a damn champ. But swimming, I just go in circles.
So the plan's just to stick it out here?
Yeah. I mean, the water's going to come in, it's going to rise. If you're on land, it's going to flood, you're risking drowning. I'm in a boat. The boat goes up with the water. So even if the boat goes up 100 feet in the air, I'm going to be up 100 feet in the air with the water. So it's really the safest place in the world to be is on my boat. And I got room for one more female.
Give the people some words of wisdom out there.
Listen, just, you know what to do. Just be safe. Don't do stupid shit. And we'll all be all right. We'll be here, we'll be here tomorrow and the day after.
Perfect, man. Let's go one day at a time. Let's do it.
All right.
Pretty ironic there. Don't do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And
Does he not realize that he almost
No,
died
he does not.
in the first one?
It appears he does
He
not.
was getting drug out to sea. And by the way, if God is telling you that, might want to start listening to a different God. I'm not certain that that's the advice you want to get. But the logic behind the rising tide, that's amazing. I've never heard anything so fantastic. Oh, yeah, if there's a 15-foot storm surge or a 100-foot, don't worry, I'll be on top of it. Apparently, the safest place to be in a hurricane, on a small boat.
Do you want to hear a little bit more of him?
Yeah.
Just a little taste.
And speaking of rising tide, I saw a tweet from 20 minutes ago that there's been a big-time surge in Florida where water has come up 5+ feet in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, but he just... Didn't you hear him? He just goes up with
Well,
the water.
let's hear some more of him.
Okay.
All right, Jay, they're saying 20-foot storm surge.
could be 120. It doesn't matter. The boat floats. That's the whole thing. Keep the water on the outside of the boat, and the boat will go up with the water and down with the water. That's what we want to do.
Can we please get you into a hotel?
No.
Everybody's been asking, man. We got to get you off this thing.
Listen, the only way I'm going to go to a motel room is if a woman invites me and she's going to stay. That's the only way I'm going. That's the only thing I give the boat up for is a girl.
A girl. For Jenny. For a girl. Even with the 150-mile-an-hour winds.
You know what? I ain't worried about none of that.
He's not worried, guys.
Listen, you see this tattoo right here? IGY6. I got you 6. I got your back. Because God's got mine. So if I say I got you, and if I got you, God got you.
That doesn't even
I ain't
make
worried
sense.
about it, man. What am I going to fear? Dying? My only fear is waking up tomorrow broke.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. So he doesn't fear dying.
No.
He kind of
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah.
He's like,
It does feel like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Because why else would you stay out there?
Meth is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, he looks like he's on drugs.
Yeah, I would assume so. I did like that he said that God told him to move to Florida and get a boat. Where did you get a boat? You just
bought it.
You just occupy a boat? Because the boat doesn't move, hence it was getting drug out to sea. So the boat doesn't really have the ability to move, but it does float. That logic is fascinating. I appreciate too that like he's become a TikTok celebrity because this guy that he keeps posting TikToks about him and people are trying to get him in a hotel room. He's like, nah, I'm fine on my boat. Like if he dies, is there? Do you feel bad at all, or is it a little like, man, you kind of you were kind of poking the bear there a little bit.
I kind of feel bad, but not. I mean, whatever. Yeah, it's like that's his. He made the choice.
Yeah.
My question is can you actually physically remove him from that boat? Like, should they go and say, dude, this is not safe. You cannot be here. We're taking it.
I would think, but I mean, I don't think you can physically remove someone. But I know they have
because then that's a lawsuit or something.
I would think, but they have mandatory evacuation zones.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know, but if you just refuse kicking and screaming,
yeah, they're just like
then
whatever.
You're the same guy that's like, "Where's the Coast Guard to bail me?" I also appreciate this one. Are you going to wear a life jacket? Not just no, hell no. Because why would you want to wear a life jacket? Boy. But as someone points out on the Vancouver text line, Sook, are you a minor TikTok celebrity? I don't think so. So who are you to tell Lieutenant Dan what to do? It's a valid point. I am not a minor TikTok celebrity or any TikTok celebrity of any kind. So, I mean,
modern day Harry Truman.
Yeah.
Mount St. Helens.
I don't.
I think this guy dies. What do you think? Like people are taking bets on him.
He could easily die.
Very easily die.
Very easily die. And honestly, I guess I have sympathy because he's too dumb and screwed up to realize. But at the same time, man, like, if you're that, I don't want to say dumb is the word. Just, I don't know, man.
He's dumb.
Defiant.
Yeah, if you're that defiant, whatever, dude. Like,
he does want the tail, though, in the hotel room.
He does. He's very concerned. Well, my guess is he's a one-legged homeless man on a boat. My guess is he doesn't see a lot of ass. So... this goes back to my Hookers for Heroes program that I've been trying to implement as part of my program. What if we had that? Like, we need, like...
Well, yeah, I was wondering, like, why doesn't somebody just send him a call girl or something?
They're like, hey, Dan, I'll tell you what, buddy. You get off this boat. We got a professional for you waiting in the hotel room. Let's get you out of there. Let's get you safe, warm. Maybe get you a shirt, right? Some shoes. Get you off the boat. Get you a nice, lovely lady for the evening. You don't have to die in the harbor.
Vancouver Ford text line asks, has he considered that God is a big fan and really wants to meet him?
It's possible. I'm often like, again, I'm not here to crap on anyone's belief in God. You do you. But boy, it sure feels like God's telling people to do a lot of dumb things over the years. Wasn't the local kid, he went to that island with the natives. What is that island off the coast of New Zealand?
Senegal,
yeah. That guy said that God told him that he was supposed to go there and teach those people about Jesus, and then they ran a bunch of spears through his body. This guy's saying that God's telling him that he's right where he needs to be and that God's got his six. Boy, I got a question. I got a question what God's telling people. You got to listen to the guy on the other shoulder, maybe. Maybe that's what it is. We're getting our shoulders confused. Maybe turn to the right. How about this? Second opinion. Like if a doctor says, hey, I think we should amputate your leg, maybe go get a second opinion on that one.
Did you see the guy doing donuts in the water?
Yeah.
Downtown Tampa.
Yeah, he's just out in his boat.
No, he's in a car.
Oh no, there's a guy in a boat out there running circles in the bay.
Oh, no, there's a video from like up above like a high-rise hotel or something.
Yeah.
Down in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And the water's kind of rising
He's
and
just spinning.
Yeah, he's doing like figure eights out there.
Yeah. There was a guy, and I think this was yesterday or maybe this morning. The storm hadn't officially hit, but the bunch of the tornadoes and water spouts have popped up.
Yeah.
And
they had like 9 tornadoes today.
Yeah, there was one, and there's a video, and it's a nice boat, and there's two bros, and it's a ways away, but there is a giant water spout, and the sky's just all black, and they're out there in the boat, just doing circles.
So is it official that it's made landfall and like it's blowing up Florida right now? Is that what's happening?
I think it's it's supposed to be hitting right now.
Because we're getting a lot of. I'm looking at some of the coverage and stuff, and it's kind of.
It seems like it's happening like right now because I saw another thing that was like they were showing a bunch of the water had been pulled out of the bay, like by the storm, so it's going to be coming back in.
Yeah, that is freaky. Like they were showing on some of the bridges and some of the seawalls.
Like the levels have gone way down before they're going to come roaring back.
They were saying like a couple hundred feet out, it's just there's no water. It's all been sucked out, and they're like, yeah, that's going to come back. Just FYI. Hopefully, Lieutenant Dan isn't like, hey, you said there was going to be water. I don't see any water. My boat's just laying on the ground.
The opposite of a storm.
Yeah,
that's rough. All right, coming up next, a man has murdered a mountain lion. But with what? Was it his bare hands?
He was a real man.
That's next. Here's Buckley.
They're eating the cats.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Reynolds Defense Firm. If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today, online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on the Fan, a full slate of playoff baseball today. The Tigers beat the Guardians 3-0 in Game 3 of the ALDS. Detroit takes a 2-1 series lead in that one. In the National League, the Mets punch their ticket to the League Championship Series. They beat the Phillies 4-1 behind a grand slam from Francisco Lindor. Right now, the Yankees and Royals deadlocked at 2 apiece. They are in the 8th inning of that one, and the Padres and Dodgers have just gotten started. LA already out to a 1-0 lead off of a Mookie Betts solo home run. In the NFL, Gardner Minshew out as the starting quarterback in Las Vegas. He's been replaced by Aiden O'Connell. Saints head coach Dennis Allen announced today that it won't be Jake Haener replacing Derek Carr in New Orleans. It'll be Spencer Rattler getting his first NFL start. And the Texans send receiver Nico Collins to the IR. He'll miss at least 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Got a smart speaker? It's The Fan in your office and every room of your home. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Hey, it's Suk, and I want to do a little myth busting. When it comes to flooring, the big box stores do not have the best price, service, or knowledge, so why would you go there? Divine Surface is locally owned and will flat out beat the big box boys. You won't find LVP installed for $4 a square foot from a guy in an orange vest. Divine Flooring has unbeatable selection, price, and service that you can actually talk to an expert, not someone who happens to be in aisle 72A. So whether it's laminate, carpet, tile, Divine will save you time, money, and hassle. Online at divinesurface.com.
CCB 248775.
Celebrate 30 years of quality at Stitch and Embroidery. From custom embroidery and screen printing to promotional products, we help brand your business, sports teams, schools, and special events. Need wholesale? We've got you covered with contract embroidery. Let us put you in
you've taunted the baseball gods,
know.
unfortunately.
I know.
Poke the proverbial bear.
God. And I just text Cooley. I said, here's where Stanton wins it for you.
You have said
You're
multiple
right about
times
that.
you have no fear of Giancarlo Stanton.
No fear. I hate him. And by the way, you want to think you want to talk about baseball being weird?
Yeah.
Basically, Giancarlo Stanton can't run because he's hurt.
Yeah. He's always hurt.
And Salvi Perez, of course, the Royals, one of the best catchers in baseball. How much would you have bet that Giancarlo Stanton would get a stolen base off of Salvi Perez?
Doesn't really seem likely.
Well, he did. Earlier in the game. What is even happening?
Well, he just went yard.
He's 3 for 4. Yankees have just taken a 3-2 lead in the top of the 8th.
Just setting up for the...
And you're right. This is all my fault.
Well, just, you taunted.
I did.
You taunted. Boy, is this... God,
How many other Royals fans do you think it's their fault, too? Like, this happens to everybody, right?
Well, yeah. That gives me solace. Thank you.
Would you care to guess how many stolen bases Stanton has this year?
I was wondering what the odds would have been on betting that today. It's got to be an insane payout.
I'm going to say 1.
Try again.
0.
How about in 2023?
When's the last time he had a stolen base?
There you go. This is a better one.
2018 maybe?
2020. But
Okay.
fun stat. Since 2018, Giancarlo Stanton has how many stolen bases?
2.
1.
Well, 2 now.
That doesn't count in regular season stats. He now has as many stolen bases in this series as he does since 2018 in the regular series. That's kind of like, dude, that is amazing. I'm kind of blown away. And then don't forget, in 2017, he exploded with 5 big steals. Jeez Louise.
What do birds do during a hurricane?
They just fly away.
They just fly out of it?
Yeah.
Can they outfly it? Do they know it's coming early enough?
Animals know.
Well, I know animals know like when disasters are coming, but something like that, can they actually outrun that?
I think he's fly north. I think animals
Or you just fly up?
Well, no. 'cause
Above the eye of the storm.
You can't stay up there. I mean, birds do have to land eventually. I think they just probably get the hell out of there. They're like nuts to this, you know.
What do zoo animals do?
I think they just, well, zoo animals at least get protected. I think the bad one is like the animals like when wildfires hit. They're just, that's the one no one talks about, but they don't have anywhere to go. They're just screwed. And a lot of times there's fences, eventually even in preserves. You know, that's, it doesn't end well. By the way, I have more Lieutenant Dan news. I guess people are now starting an anti-Lieutenant Dan campaign. They're pissed at him.
Well, they should be.
Yeah, well, I guess this, and again, take it for what it's worth. People have dug into Lieutenant Dan a little bit.
Uh-oh.
So he's
Canceling Dan?
Well, so he's a California bro.
Oh.
And there is a lot of rumors that he came out to Florida specifically to ride out that first, the Helena or whatever, the first storm, that he came out to Florida. And before he came out, he started a GoFundMe and then tied his boat into that. And they're saying that that harbor that he's at is literally the worst possible spot in all of Tampa. She said that this lady's like kind of pointed out on this map that there's a couple rivers and there's 3 marinas that would be 1,000 times safer, but he refuses to go to either one of them, and that he's already up to over 20,000 on his GoFundMe, despite the fact that people have offered him help and to get out of there.
Well, what is he?
He's just racking up money by doing this. That they're saying that it's possible this whole thing was set up for him to basically be a grifter and make money off of tying himself to his boat in these hurricanes.
What about the part where he may die?
Yeah, that's.
Is that? I mean,
well, he's willing to risk it.
I saw something else where he once got arrested
Yeah.
for hitting an EMT with a violin.
Yeah, he beat up an EMT that was trying to help him with a violin. I don't know where he got the violin, but he did a year in prison for beating an EMT with a
well,
violin.
look, if that's the worst thing on his rap sheet, I'm okay with that.
And so people are pissed because, you know, he's already made 20,000 and there's actual real homeless people in Florida with nowhere to go, no money, and they're
Right.
like, quit giving money to this D-bag And no one cares about the actual people that don't have a boat, that don't have an option, that are literally stuck on the street with nowhere to go.
Yeah. Well, how about blame the people that are giving him money?
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, and that's the unfortunate part is, people see a story like this and they're like, oh, I'm donating to this guy. But if you said, hey, what about these group of people that are living in under a bridge or wherever, they're like, street urchins, go to hell. And they're saying if this guy would just take his boat and move it 700 yards across the way into a river and tie it up there, he would probably more than likely, there's no guarantees, but he would be way, way safer. But he's refusing to do so because then he couldn't be like, I'm riding out the storm because God told me to.
So this isn't about God or his scientific theories.
It does appear that it may be about his GoFundMe page.
Isn't it always?
Boy, the social media clout is maybe the most fascinating thing of my lifetime. What people are willing to do. I mean, I guess the money thing is never a surprise. Grifters are going to grift. You're always going to find a way. But the internet clout thing, that you are willing to risk your life simply for some clicks and some likes.
Yeah. Humans, man.
Yeah. Strange, strange world. It's like people that die taking selfies, They go up in like these really dangerous like rock formations or whatever, and they hang off cliffs and take selfies and all that stuff just so you can post it to the gram, and then a bunch of strangers are like, kick ass, bro. Middle of school shootings and whatnot, people take out their phones. So
why do you think that so many human beings want that? Like, why do they seek that? Are they just lost souls? Were they ignored?
I think there's a ton of people that, like, before the internet never got any recognition for anything at all.
Anything.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not great at sports, you're not great at school, you're not great at your job, you're just a person. And no one, but the internet gives you this outlet to find all these other people and mixed interests. And I think for some of these people, it's that you can finally get recognition for something in your life.
The best, and there's no right answer to any of these things. The best explanation I ever heard, and it was a little, how would you say, a little existential for me, but I thought it really made a lot of sense. And it kind of hit home. I was like, oh my God, because I've been fascinated about this for years. It blows me away how many times, and I with kids and even adults alike, and I've seen it with people in my own family that just are obsessed with like 1,000 people clicking and what they're willing to sacrifice for 1,000 random people to click a like button. And that's it. You get nothing else from it. Just the idea that someone clicks something or getting on a news channel, right? Someone doing a news story about you. And that 45 seconds that a bunch of random people see you on KGON or KGW or whatever. And this guy, he talked about throughout all of human history up until recently, probably, he said like in the last 100 years, right, is essentially when this changed. He said our only purpose for all human existence was what? When you woke up every morning from the beginning of human existence until roughly 100 years ago, what was the only object you had?
Survive.
Yeah, don't die. So that's like, he said that is hardwired into us for however long you want to think humans have been around, right? From Neanderthal or whenever you think humanity really arose. You had one objective, don't die. You woke up and you had to find something to eat, you had to find something to drink, and you had to make sure that nothing killed you.
You had to find some tutty.
You had to find some tutty, right? To keep it going. And that's all you did every day, and it gave you purpose, and it was hardwired into us. And he said somewhere in the last 100 years, and he said, yes, there's people in horrible parts of the world that don't have this, but he said even in really, really poor parts of the world, in the poorest parts of the United States, when you wake up, you're not going to die. It's almost a guarantee that you will have something to eat, you will have some clothes on your back. Survival is no longer an essential. And that now we are left with however a million years of hardwired DNA, and our purpose is gone. And so without that purpose, we are desperate to find some sort of meaning in anything. And so people seek out purpose. They seek out validation. And when you have nothing else going on, sometimes other people telling you that you're great or that you matter or that you're liked or that you're whatever, that becomes someone's purpose. And a lot of times it's the people that seek out that stuff don't really have anything else going in their life. There is no purpose, and that fame becomes their currency. That becomes what gives their life purpose. And if that is your purpose, you will fight for it the same way that someone 100,000 years ago did, waking up to find something to eat or to make sure that you didn't die.
Possibly that is an explanation.
It was one of those, and the way he put it, it was kind of one of those things where I was listening to it, I was like, that just, I don't know, it hit home. It made a lot of sense to me.
By the way, somebody just texted in, they're watching Padres-Dodgers, and they said, you were talking about the Manny Machado base running thing?
Yeah.
They just said on the broadcast, unless a tag is being made, there are no restrictions on the base paths for a runner.
Really?
Yeah, if
you
there's
can
no
run
tag.
wherever you want.
Well, if you think about it, like when you're rounding, like...
Well, not on the first base line,
Not
though.
first base, no. But, you know, it does... I mean, guys do
Feels
get
like
all...
it should have to be within reason, though. Like, you can't run in on the infield cutout, but that's kind of what he
Well,
was
I
doing.
think you can.
Huh.
Actually.
Wow, like that's...
I always thought
you
running
run a
out of the
total
base-
zigzag if you wanted to?
I thought running out of the... I'm an idiot. then.
That's first base.
Yeah, I always thought running out of the base path was...
To avoid a tag would
Only
be
first base.
not allowed, but I guess
But then
not a throw.
Julio got picked off on third. See, remember when Julio wandered off third and
Yeah.
he wasn't paying it, or he was like getting out of the way of the bat?
Yes.
That didn't matter. He still could have gotten back.
Yeah.
They threw him out.
Yeah.
But he was way over by the coach's box,
Yeah.
and it was fine.
So if I think, and I'm convinced that Machado did it, the guy that had the ball throwing to second was way in on the infield. I can choose then to make sure I run in his path, no matter how
Yes.
far out that is.
That's what Freddie Freeman said.
Essentially, if you're good enough to pull that off,
Yeah.
you're allowed to do
Freddie
it.
Freeman said he would have done the same thing.
Because Machado clearly, to me, he understood. Like, he's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm running here, and it ended up hitting him. And that's the other one, too. I thought if you got hit by the ball, I thought that the runner was out. I didn't.
No.
Yeah.
That's if you get hit by the batted ball.
Huh. Well, I mean, heads up play then by Machado. I mean, it sure seemed like that's what he meant to do.
All right. Damn it. We need Bobby Witt to wake up here.
Someone said, by the way, Suk, that's also why people protest and fight for causes so much more these days, because they have the ability to do so without dying. Valid point. You know that you can go protest and there's no real consequences to you. Back in the day, not so much.
Yeah, somebody else said, hey, it'd be great if people did nice things for other people. That'd be cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, no. We're pretty selfish creatures.
Bingo.
All right, we'll wrap it up next on The Fan.
We've been waiting for this one.
I'm fascinated. All right, well, let's get out of here. It's not looking good.
Question is, will you drive home listening to this? Or
I
will
will.
you be,
Oh,
boy, nice play.
damn it. I will drive home watching it.
Yeah.
Don't tell the don't
The
tell
authorities.
the police.
Yeah,
Do you ever do that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've never ever done
No,
that.
I put
where
it. I put it in the carrier thing.
Oh, you have a carrier. You have a little.
Yeah, for your phone. You know how you put your phone hold.
Like the mount?
Yeah, the mount.
I just have mine in like the cup holder.
I put it in the mount and then I turn it.
Yeah.
So it's full screen.
Yeah.
But then I put it low so that nobody can actually see that I'm watching.
I worked with a guy for Sacramento Kings coverage, and for home games, he had to drive down to the Bay Area for away games, I guess, from Sacramento like 40 times a year. And he said he watched entire Netflix seasons of shows on his dashboard while he was doing that drive.
Is that right?
I'm like, that seems ill-advised.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Yeah,
seem-
don't do this, kids.
Well, that's illegal. Like if you have a
Yeah.
if you have a
Yeah.
car with a DVD player, or whatever that. I guess now there's not many of those, but back in the day, it's illegal to watch it in front. It has to be in the back seat.
Salve.
Probably not a good idea to be distracted while watching Netflix things. But I'll have it sometimes where I'll put something on, and I usually just put it in the cup holder, and then I listen to it, and then occasionally if I need to, you can kind of glance down. But I don't have one of the. Do you have it like mounted on the air in the air vent or suction cup or whatever?
Yeah, it's like a suction cup one.
Yeah.
Sits up by my kind of like.
I have a little magnet one that goes right where my where my CD player should go. That's defunct, obviously.
Look, I just think they should have large screen TVs in cars now.
Yeah, cars
Come
basically
on.
drive themselves.
Yeah,
That's
every
right.
car could just be self-driving. That'd be fine.
I have.
Maybe you need a Cybertruck.
Jeez, please don't. I have a phone mount on the handlebars of my bike, and I used to every now and then because like you can keep like a little map up, kind of track where you're going. Every now and then I would have something on my phone, and that's the worst idea. If you think driving while watching your phone is a bad idea, try riding a bicycle. It is the worst possible thing
Well, look,
you can do.
I just want to report that I'm careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're aware.
But it's a big game.
Yeah.
So
you can't listen to the radio on the way home.
Well, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I just black it out
Yeah.
and then just listen to the
Listen to
call through Bluetooth.
I do do that. That's probably the better way to go about it. Rob.
Sometimes I do that.
You're only a couple steps away from that dude who got pulled over eating chicken watching football.
I know.
Under the influence.
Well, he was drunk, though.
Yeah, that's
he
the
was
difference.
Well, that's a pretty good ticket. You can get the same thing, right? I mean, they give you a ticket for dinking around on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a distracted driving ticket.
For sure.
Absolutely. I'm more likely to have that than anything else. 'Cause there's times like you're just, I don't know, you're eating a burrito or something, or, you're it's by far the unsafest thing. Oh, there we go.
Base hit.
The
Let's go.
unsafest thing that we do.
First and third.
First and third, what? Oh, 2 outs still?
2 outs, yeah. Bottom of the 8th. I think,
Too bad Bobby couldn't steal that base. That would have.
yeah, no kidding.
Would have scored him.
They did a pretty good job of holding him on.
Yeah, they did.
I think Melendez is up.